Hello, this is Rose Nyland. What?
That was
I'm one of the winners of the Publishers Clearinghouse. Ed McMahon wants to see me right away.
I have to apologize. I thought this was the Joe Franklin studio. I'll tell you why I'm here. I happen to be in town over doing some stuff for the NBC affiliate.
That's right.
And, you know, Ed McMahon, our good friend, could not be here. Yeah. But it seems, David, that you are the $1 million winner.
Oh, my God. I've won $1 million.
Shout out to my people. This is Ed McMahon, rolling slow through the suburbs in an unmarked van. I ran the strip in the 80s, brought big fat checks to the ladies. When I showed up at their door, they would start screaming like crazy. Rake it in hand over fist, was on the VIP list. I was a verbal gunslinger, and my shots never missed. But now the bills have come due, and my credit score's whacked. So I'm hitting up the winners to get my checks back. Hi, Ed McMahon. Ed McMahon. Remember I gave you that big check? I'd like to have that check back. I'm having some stuff would help a lot. Just a little bit.
Because, you know, and I knew, you know, the difference in the situation was I knew you were making bank on those shirts. You know, I knew you were right.
I did okay.
Yeah, you look like the Monopoly guy. You're driving from town to town in a black top hat and a monocle.
I remember they started bootlegging it. Just to quickly talk about me for a second.
I'll never join you. If you only knew the power of the dark side. When I first saw the dialogue that said, Luke, I am your father, I said to myself, he's lying. I wonder how they're going to play that liar. Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father. He told me enough. He told me you killed him. No, I am your father.
Say what?
Join me. Together, we can rule the galaxy as father and son. Luke, I am your father.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the baldest of them all?
See a red door and I want to paint it black. It's the city I live in, the city of angels. Lonely as I am to cry.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to Dose. Oh, Unveiling This Realm. I almost said the wrong name, Karen. Sorry. Are you there?
This is why I need to make a new intro.
I know you're slacking.
Make an intro because when you start mixing intros and shows, you start doing stuff like that.
Whatever, lady.
True.
Everybody, welcome back. Yeah, no, it is true. It's definitely true. All right, everybody, welcome back. I know there might be a fair amount of new people here tonight because I did interview Crow yesterday, and I got a lot of subs from that. Maybe like 50 or so new people signed up, and there were almost. Did you see there were almost 400 people live yesterday?
Yes, you had a very good live audience yesterday. Very good.
What did you think about the interview?
I thought it was great. I thought you got Crow. He seemed very relaxed, and he was talking a lot. I mean, I thought it was very good. You know, I like Crow. I like Crow a lot. So.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a smart guy about a lot of things. So I'm going to reflect on a few things that came up in the interview in a little bit. Other things we're going to get into, guys, is I did a show today on Gypsy Road. So shout out to Gypsy Road if my mods can throw that link in there, and I will mirror that tomorrow. And also this whole Max Egan thing everybody's talking about, Karen. We'll touch on that as well.
Okay.
I'm gonna just kind of, before we get into really anything, I just want to kind of I'm going to give people a little runabout about what this channel is real quick. I know that might be redundant for some of you, but just because there might be some new people. So you took a week off. Did you enjoy being unplugged for a bit?
I did.
Yeah. Everybody was asking about you.
No, they weren't. Nobody misses me.
No, they weren't. What do you mean, no, they weren't?
I don't know. I don't know, because I wasn't online. I totally ignored everything for a little while. I was getting messages on my phone like, Karen, are you okay? I was like, I'm okay. Just leave me alone for a little while.
Yeah, so everybody asking, well, I don't know if people asked. I will tell you, we will open the phones later as well, take some calls. Yeah, so the people that are new to this channel, what we do here is we talk about a lot of topics, kind of like maybe some of the channels you listen to, maybe some of them you don't, and they're more focused on one topic. But we like to really connect the dots. Now, Karen, obviously, she's been in the flat Earth community for a while, as well have I. She's been more involved than me, definitely, as of the last few years. And I'm more in the Mandela effect stuff, which we're gonna talk about as well. We're gonna talk about the Mandela effect for a little bit. Definitely gonna get into that Max Egan stuff. But I just want to give people a quick update before we give them the whole description of the channel, because people are asking. I do have a job. I got a new job. I started yesterday, and they're gonna give me a ton of hours right off the bat. So that is settled. And the dog is not doing well, for people that asked. Vader is having a hard time standing up now, as of last night and today. So it's like trying to carry him outside, basically, but he's like 120 pounds. So it's like, yeah. So that's tough. But that's what's up. Other things, guys, that are new that you might have heard me talk about with Crow yesterday. I want to address it because some people might think it's wild and outrageous. We started talking about fake events and whatnot, and I don't talk about it too much on this channel. I can't go too deep because of censorship. But yes, I am all about making people lose the fear over all these fake events. And I know there's a lot of people in this chat that will still disagree with me, maybe until they look deeper into it. But yes, Brian did say yesterday that nobody died on 9/11. So we can actually talk about that anytime you guys want.
Wait, who said that?
I did.
Only yesterday? I thought that was old news.
It is old news, but not to most people. I'm saying I said it yesterday when Crow was on, so some of the people might have been like,
what? And you said it to Crow. What did Crow say? I missed that part.
He seemed like he pretty much agreed with me.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm not putting words in his mouth. He didn't say, "Oh yeah, I agree. Nobody died on 9," but he went on to say how they're all fake. Blah 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 blah.
He just knows they're fake. Like, but we don't know to what extent. That's what he says. Like he says, basically, yes, it's fake, but we just don't know to what extent. And we really don't know. You can, have all these theories and you can say, well, I think this, and that, but nobody knows to what extent that they are really fake. We just know that they are. And that's really what matters, is that you know that they are fake.
Well, it matters when there's no deaths, because that's a completely different level of fear that they push on you. That's how these operations work, because they won't have participation if they need to get actual regular government workers to sign off on deaths on civilians or little kids. That's how it works. Or else there would be whistleblower after whistleblower. There would be families to deal with, and on and on and on and on and on. So we brought up the Mandela effect on the show, because this is a channel where I talk a lot about Mandela effect, guys. And, I was trying to see what his take was on it. He definitely didn't seem like he was feeling it. So I wasn't going, it's his interview. It wasn't like I was on his show to talk about whatever. It was his awakening interview, and that obviously isn't part of it, but I brought it up. But yeah, and see, Josh from Oregon said Crow has said he believes nobody died. He said he heard him say it on TFR.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not, I didn't hear it, but that's what Josh said. And it seemed like that's what the take was yesterday. But to the Mandela effect, when I brought it up, see, the reason that came with the strategy that I did with the lion and the lamb, not just because it's the most popular Bible change, but people have already told me that he's affected by that one. And somebody had brought it up to his attention.
Yeah, and I know, and I heard when you guys talked about that, I did hear that part where he said, well, I need to know where the trick is, to be blunt about it. Where's the trick? He's like, I'm still looking for the trick. Okay, well, keep looking for the trick. You should be.
Yeah.
Look for the trick.
And then you're going to find out there is no trick, because you're going to find out time and time again, you won't be able to debunk it. So for people that don't know what I'm talking about, in Isaiah 11:6, the most famous, Bible quote, one of them, the lion shall lay with the lamb. It now says, well, in all the Bibles, and this isn't an online thing. This can be your 400-year-old Bible in the house that nobody's come in and switched out, and your text has actually changed in it. So there is no trick. Like Timmy in the Well is another one I know they were talking about over there on an episode. I think it was an episode he did with Wayne and maybe Jason. I had noticed it a while ago, so I took a note of it. Oh, affected by Timmy in the Well. This is what I do. And Russian Vids and Nathan, I got something for you guys too. Oh yeah, I heard you guys last night. So so they had an episode where they were talking about Timmy in the Well, just like when you and Mark had that episode, Can't We All Just Get Along? So I brought it up on a show because that's a Mandela effect. Rodney King doesn't say, can't we all just get along now? But you guys had it in the title of your show, and Mark specifically said that's why he titled it, because of Rodney King. I talked about Timmy in the Well in an episode, and everybody that remembers Lassie remembers the famous episode when Timmy fell in the well. Lassie went to town to get help, and they came back and rescued Timmy. Well, now that episode never existed, and nobody can produce it. They can say it's a trick. They can say this is debunked. Then find that episode. But they can't. It doesn't exist. So the idea that we're misremembering, it's out the window. We don't misremember and convolute an episode detail for detail, word for word, and have it all match each other. So there isn't a trick. But I'm not going to go on too long beating you over the head trying to convince you of the Mandela effect yet. You'll see that it's a very, very real thing. Can you talk for a second? I got to get the door hanging.
Okie dokie. So, yeah. It doesn't make sense for it to be a trick if everybody's remembering it the same way. I mean, if there's so many people who remember that and they're so convinced that they saw something a certain way, that's more than just a trick. There's something going on there. There's something. Doesn't really matter what you think it is, but you have to admit that there's something more than just misremembering going on there.
Yeah, because if there's a lot of people that are listening right now that probably did research in a lot of topics, how is it that none of you people have ever heard of Black Tom? Except if you've heard me mention it here. How is that none of you people have heard of the first terrorist attack on the United States that damaged the Statue of Liberty so bad that nobody's been there? How come you haven't heard of Torpedo Alley where 5,000 people died off the coast of North Carolina? How come you remember the phrase mirror, mirror so well? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? But it was not said in the movie. How come you remember Tinkerbell flying over all the Disney intros and doing the thing with her wand? Well, that's never existed. If I'm lying, just pull out your hard copies and prove me wrong. But if you actually have the courage to pull out your hard copies, you'll see that all the changes I say are represented, whether it's a map, whether it's a Bible, whether it's a movie, and now there's historical events, and your anatomy's changing. Call me wrong, but where's your kidneys, people? Where's your kidneys at, debunkers? Your kidneys used to be back here. Now they're up protected behind your rib cage. Your heart used to be off to the left. Now it's right behind, directly behind your sternum. You have bones behind your eyes now. It's not a psyop. It's not a trick. Bones behind your eye sockets where you didn't before. I know you know what I'm talking about, Karen.
Mm-hmm.
I know that one's fucked up. That one's messed up.
Yeah, there's a lot. That's weird. It's just weird. The things with the body that have changed.
Yeah. I like the history ones a lot, and the anatomy ones are great because it's like, how could that be any type of psyop when your body's changing?
There's this chiropractor. If you want to show like Mandela body change stuff to people who are still sort of in the matrix, you can show them this guy. He's a chiropractor. His name is Dr. Taryn Lupo.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about all the body Mandela effect changes. He does a good job of it too. Dr.
Yeah.
Taryn Lupo.
There's so many of them. There's so many. There's just way too many to deny, way too many. But let's move on for now, and we'll come back to that, and I'm sure when people call in, a lot of people like to talk about that.
Okay.
What do you think about this Max Egan thing everybody's talking about? Now, I'll just preface it with this. I don't know the guy well enough to have any type of judgment on his character. I never looked at his research. All I know is that when I heard that he came out for Flat Earth, the first thing that popped in my head is, isn't this the guy that said he debunked it with the nonstop from Sydney to Santiago and said he was
Yes.
and all this?
Yes, on Jaren's channel, Jarenism. Yeah.
So I kind of was stepping away from Flat Earth a little bit at that time, so I seen that come up. I'm like, fuck this guy and his bullshit. I didn't even watch his video. I seen it pop up. I think Jaren put it on his channel, I think. What did people think about that when that came out? I mean, what was the reaction to that, and what did he say how did he say he debunked anything? Because I heard it was very suspect, the footage. I heard he couldn't really show where he departed from.
He couldn't because he said he fell asleep. If you watch, I remember when that happened and I watched it. And he was like, well, I was there for a while watching it, but it got really dark and then I fell asleep. It was just like he couldn't debunk it because he didn't even stay awake for the entire flight. But yeah, it was just anyway. He was just very condescending about it from the very beginning. He never really looked into it. He never really got serious about it. He just kind of blew it off like everybody else. Not everybody else, but most other people.
He has a huge following, yeah. He's got a lot of subs, right? Like 200,000 subs or something. He got a big channel, right? Has he got that many?
I don't remember. He had a channel. Gosh, I forget what it was. It was on with Jaren, and it had some crazy icon on it. It was like the mind. I don't know, but it wasn't called Max Egan. I can't remember what it is. Maybe somebody will remember, but anyway. I don't remember if he had a lot of subs. I don't think he had like 200,000, but Carrie needs some strong coffee. No, I don't need any strong coffee. I don't want any coffee. Anyway, I don't know. But here's the thing, though. Like we were talking about that. This is years ago when Max Egan did that live stream with Jarenism. That was years ago. Years ago. Yeah. Why is he coming on board with it now? Everybody's like, "Oh, Max does a flip flop. Max is a flat earther now. Max says Earth is flat." It's like, okay, great. Why now?
Where you been? And then
where you been and why now?
Yeah, and now it sounds like he's kind of going back, and now he's saying it's flat and it's a globe at the same time, and it's just however you perceive it. Well, show me how you measure that it's a globe, buddy.
The Crow House. That's okay. That's right.
Yeah.
200,000 subs. Okay. Crow House over 200. Okay. Yeah. See, I'm sorry. I don't pay attention to Max Egan, but I know he's done some interesting. Like he used to do stuff with, Ken O'Keefe. Do you guys remember Ken O'Keefe?
Oh yeah, I remember Ken O'Keefe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So he's been around for a while. Max has been around for a while. Like I'm not gonna say hasn't done anything because that would be wrong. It would be wrong to say that. He has done some stuff, and he's I think he's I used to think he was very legit, but then when he was so condescending to flat earthers and everything, I was just like, okay, well, because you know how it is when you see that we've been lied to, whether or not everybody agrees on what the actual shape model of the earth is, everybody has to agree that we don't live on a ball. But he was like, no, it's a sphere, it's a ball, we live on a ball. He was totally just going along with and I don't care if you don't think the same way about what I think about the earth that I think, if you don't agree with me on the opinion of it, but don't tell me that you sit here and believe that the mainstream bullshit is right, because it's demonstrably wrong. It's demonstrably wrong.
Isn't that what I always bring up too? Like, you don't have to agree. We don't have to agree on exactly what this place is, but we have to see what it's not. Everything that they present, it's not. Everything they present is completely fake, and everything they present has an obvious agenda behind it to minimalize us.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
pretty obvious. I honestly, and this might come across to people, you know, a little harsh or whatever. I have a hard time taking anybody serious that doesn't see this by now.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they just got into looking into topics like in the last year or two, you know, like how have you guys been in these circles and in these Facebook groups or these forums or on YouTube? I mean, it's a little more screwed up now, but a few years ago, YouTube was flooded with flat earth stuff. You get it recommended. How do people still act like they've never seen it? Like, how can I'm sorry, like there's some Mandela channels that I listen to, and once they start going off and they start promoting NASA stuff, it's like I have to change the channel. I can't even listen to it. It's like, how can you believe that? You don't have to believe what I believe, but how can you believe there's a car in space? How can you believe the lunar lander?
Because there's people waking up all the time, Brian. There's people waking up all the time, and they're constantly getting misled. Constantly getting misled. Especially now, especially anybody who's woke up in the last year. How long has YouTube been crushing us with their algorithms?
Yeah, about a year, a little more. Since
About a year, right? It feels like it's been about a year. So anybody who's woke up in the last year, or who has started to, or attempted to, or tried to go down that rabbit hole, they're looking at all kinds of whack shit right now. All kinds of whack shit.
Yeah, it's sad. Well, you remember how you said this guy was real condescending, like to flat earthers?
Yes.
I don't understand why I still don't get that. I never got like that with this topic. I know a lot of people did. I never got like that. It wasn't that crazy hard for me to accept. I don't know what it is with people. They're just so scared of.
I never spent years arguing against flat earthers. I tried to answer the questions honestly. That's all I ever did. All I ever did was try to answer the questions honestly, and I tried to look at stuff objectively. And I was just like, wow, I can't. There's no proof that we live on a ball. There's just none.
It's literally that simple. There's none. There's nothing. It's all completely a lie. I don't live on a cartoon. I don't live in a vacuum of space. I don't live upside down. There's not a car up there. There's not satellites up there. There's not a fucking space station up there. They can literally make up anything. They could tell you they just put a refrigerator with ice cream cones up there, and there's a guy on a grill cooking steaks. Right? I mean, they got space cookies now. They're cooking space cookies. I mean, it's completely insane. I'm gonna open the phones. Let's see what people want to say.
Okay.
You want to give the chat a shout out?
Hold on one sec.
No problem. Guys, the phones are open. 978-435-0006. Yeah, so we talk about Mandela effect here a lot. Kind of like what I specialize in. But if you do think it's a psyop, please, I beg you to stick around. Or you could even call in. That would be even better. If you think Mandela effect is fake, you think it's a psyop, call in and we can talk about it. Because I can easily convince you you're not. Not only can I convince you and prove to you that the Mandela effect is not fake and it's not a psyop, I take it one step farther. There's a lot of channels that will tell you there's these unaffected people. What about the unaffected? There's no such thing as the unaffected people. Every single one of you is affected by tons of Mandela effects. Dose of reality. I mean, unveiling this realm. You're on with Brian and Karen.
Hey, I'm on the air?
Yeah, who's this?
Hey, are we on the, this is Brian Staveley, right?
Yeah, who is this?
Hey, this is David, man. The reason I'm calling in, man, is like, relative to the Max Egan stuff, I will say, in my view, that I listened to a lot of his older stuff, and it was pretty good. I mean, he really delved into the mud flood stuff and sort of the false history and did a really good job with it. But he was like was mentioned earlier by Karen, he was always very dismissive of flat Earth, very condescending about it. And it was kind of odd because I kept thinking to myself, hey, how could he be so awake to this other stuff, but so blind to flat Earth truth? It just seemed odd. And then I was a couple days ago, I guess it was yesterday, maybe, he had the whole, he said, hey, the Earth is flat. I'll be back in a few minutes. And he put up another video and he went, kind of deep into it. And I remember thinking, okay, wait a minute. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere and for no reason, he just all of a sudden accepts flat Earth and says it's true. And then he comes out with that video today talking. Did you hear it? Did you hear what he said?
No, I heard what he said from somebody I consider a very reliable source. I didn't actually go back and watch the video, so why don't you tell everybody what was said? I mean, I said, a little bit how he kind of left it up to it's a flat and it's a globe. Like, go ahead, explain it.
Yeah, and this is not verbatim, but it approximates it closely. He was saying, well, flat Earth is true, but so is globe Earth. I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck are you talking? You know what I mean? So it just makes no sense. And they went into like this convoluted spiral of nonsense and sort of I don't want to offend anybody that has a leanings towards it. It was sort of like a pseudo spiritual, matrix driven, dueling reality kind of thing. And I'm like, this is totally not flat Earth. Those two views are mutually exclusive in my mind. You cannot adopt both views. I get, in my view, because to me it is science. It's observable. It's repeatable. It's testable. We can, like Karen said, it was demonstrably provable. And it's just, and so the question in my mind was, what is he gaining by this? What's happening here? What's the goal? I was thinking, man, he's been co-opted? What's going on here? Or has he always been co-opted? And he kept saying that he was going to reveal his true name, but he didn't want anybody to know what it was because of, he was afraid that people would say, that would think bad about him or something. And he said on the video he put out today, he was going to say his name, but he never said his name. Yeah. It's just freaky. It's like either he's doing this intentionally to get attention, or he's just absolutely spiraling. I tend to think he's spiraling. He sounds like he's losing it. And it's my view, it's what I hear. But that's really all I got on that, man. But I enjoy your show a lot, man. I really do. And I stumbled onto you from flat Earth stuff, and I got to admit, when I first saw a couple of streams, I wasn't really clued into the Mandela effect. Still, a little confused by it at times, but I will tell you this. Hope I'm not rambling too much here, but
no, you're good. Good call.
I got a friend. I'm 50 years old, and one of my best friends, he's right at 30. Known him for a long time since we were younger, and so I was thinking, what could I say to him that would have been present in his reality, also present in my reality, that would demonstrate what I'm saying? Because you know how it is. You can talk to people about stuff that they don't remember or don't even really know anyway, and it doesn't prove anything to them. It doesn't make them think. But dude, the Shazam thing got him. It got him. He's like, what the hell are you talking about? He was like, what are you talking about? I used to watch it all the time. I said, well, you watch it where all the time? What are you talking about? He said, on TV, and I used to da-da-da-da-da. And I was saying, dude, if you look it up now, I mean, nobody has a copy of it. Nobody's got there's no information. You can't rent it. You can't own it. Nobody's got a copy of it. It's been completely wiped. And he was
Sinbad himself.
Upset.
Yeah, that's crazy. Huh? And Sinbad himself gets real belligerent, attacking people about the Mandela effect. I was never in the movie. Your mother's a crackhead. This, that, and the other thing. If you have a copy of it, we're gonna send people to your house to kill you. Like, what? It's so ridiculous.
It is just tripping. But no, but what I said to him was, this is how I got him to kind of listen, and he got real uncomfortable. He said, "Man, you're freaking me out," because this is what I told him. I said, "Look, I'm telling you, friend, that it did exist. I'm telling you that I remember it too. I'm telling you that right now, in our current reality, you can't find it. It doesn't exist." So what he does, he goes straight to YouTube and he finds that video on College Humor that was released on like freaking April Fool's Day a couple of years ago, and he sends it to me, and I look at the dude, and immediately I called it back. I said, dude, the dude in this video, first of all, this looks like some kind of visual effect that's trying to make it look retro. And the dude
exactly what they
in
did.
the video is clearly about 60 years old.
Yeah, and they added fake distortion into the video, like you said, and they sprinkled all fake Mandela effect residue that they fabricated all over that film, so we would run with it. Look, we found Shazam, and it's full of all this other residue. And then that shill Sinbad came out after and said it was all a joke. Yeah.
And then there's other people out there taking a video with their cell phone of you see going, look, I found it. Like, what the hell? That dude, man, Sinbad was like, what? Back then, he was a fresh young fella. He wasn't a 60-year-old dude.
No.
But anyway, I'm just letting you know, I got him with it. I got him with it hard, man. And it kind of creeped him out. But, it's kind of like dropping red pills, I think he's starting to see, the stuff going on.
Yeah, hopefully everybody will see. Hopefully everybody will see. I've been working real hard to get everybody in the flat Earth community to see this Mandela effect. It's almost there, I got like 75% of them, at least, I think.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, none of it seems nefarious, really. At least where I'm at so far, I haven't really seen anything that's, that's really, like a dangerous type thing. It's just these subtle, could be perceived as insignificant, like the whole interview with the vampire now, as opposed to with a vampire. I mean, it's innocuous. There's nothing really to it other than just to make people argue. But it's true. It's a thing,
Yeah, and the media changes it good because that's what resonates with people. Because if you bring up anatomy, geography, history to some people, they don't recognize it. But you tell them that City of Angels never, Under the Bridge by the Red Hot Chili Peppers never said City of Angels now, even on their own hard copy. Then they know, because they know it was City of Angels, because that's the only thing that even makes sense, because it's talking about LA.
Yeah.
But anybody that just heard that, anybody new that just heard that, pull out your Red Hot Chili Peppers album, and it's going to say City of Angel, singular. So there it is. But thank you for the call.
When I was a little kid, man, I used to the whole Wizard of Oz thing's like an annual event. It was almost like a holiday. Like you watched every year, and we had like 3 channels back then, so you had to know what time it was on, and you made a big deal out of it. Well, I watched it over and over again for years up until probably my slightly prepubescent years, and the whole thing was now the Scarecrow walk around holding a gat. I'm like, wait a minute. That Scarecrow didn't have no pistol, man. But all the kids born after that remember him having one. So that's not a good example to use with somebody who's like 28 or 30 because they never saw him not have a gun, Yeah. Does that make sense? Because I'm new to this, but this is what I'm seeing.
Well, it does. Just like with the Lion and the Lamb, there's so much residue. Anybody that hasn't seen my Mandela Effect short video list, it's on my page. And the Lion and the Lamb one, there's so much residue, and there's kid songs and Elvis songs, and everybody's singing about the Lion and the Lamb. But give it a 3, 4, 5 more years, these little kids are going to be singing about the wolf is dwelling with the lamb. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man. Well, hey man, I'm glad I got in, and I enjoy your show, and shout out to both of y'all. And yeah, this whole Max Egan thing, man, it's just freaky, man. The minute I heard him say that, I was like, okay, what is he up to? This is BS. This is not legit. Because I could just sense this air of disingenuous sort of grandstanding occurring. There was definitely something behind what he was doing. And I believe that, and I'll see it unfold. But it's gotten insufferable, because when I tried to watch what he was going to say today, I was like, oh, yeah, he's going to talk some more, get some more stuff, see where he came up with this new flat earth revelation. And he, like I said, he spiraled off into we have people that live in a globe reality and people that, what the hell is he talking about? So anyway, that's my take on it, man. And I'm glad to be on.
Thank you. Thank you for calling in.
Yes, sir.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you. Good call. Good call.
That That was a good call. We have the best calls here. Have I ever said
You
that
have
before?
the best calls. I'm suspicious of that guy too. Why now? Why?
Go ahead. You were very quiet during the call. Elaborate on it a bit.
Well, I was mostly quiet because I was making myself a drink, but
okay.
Kind of half on break, half off break. So give me
Unrolling this realm with Brian and Karen. Who's this?
Hey, this is Jason or Renaissance Now.
Hey, what's up?
Can you guys hear me?
I hear
Can you guys hear me okay?
You can hear me.
Okay,
Yep.
good. There was a little bit of echo in there. Oh, yeah, so this is Jason. I was on Mac's show the other night doing a live stream. My handle is Renaissance Now.
Max as in Max. Max as in Max Egan, or Mac as in Flat Earth Fokker, or Max as in Max Egan?
Oh, Flat Earth Fokker.
Okay. So you were on Fokker's channel. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and I don't know. I want to sort of like have us as a community sort of visualize where we think we're going from here. Like I don't, if we don't have a map for where, or like a vision for where we're going, like it's going to take a lot longer. So I just wanted to see each of you guys, like what your vision of sort of end game, like, and the path to the end game.
What's your vision? I talk about I've talked about this a lot. What do you think the plan is?
I talked about it a little bit on Fokker's channel, but what I was talking about is this idea of us needing to get land basically and just start communities and just basically planting flags around the earth as our little communities. I used to live in an eco village, which is a sort of an intentional community that uses permaculture to maximize the efficiency of all the systems on site. So, your shower water feeds the garden, your sink water feeds the garden, you do, you compost and things like that, just to make it so that you can live off the land with a lot less inputs. And Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I mean, yeah, it's a great idea. I know Karen would support that idea too, but is it feasible? How do we get this done?
And there was I think Tranquility Pyramid is his name. He's in New Zealand, and he sent me a link to a old hippie sort of community commune that just it's like sort of abandoned, and flat earthers are taking it over and sort of starting a community there. And they're having like a local flat earth meetup there. And there's so much information online now, especially through YouTube, on how to build your own tiny house, how to build using alternative materials, foamcrete and rammed earth and different alternatives to wood. I mean, even brick and trying to maybe figure out what kind of brick they were using in Tartaria and restarting this whole thing and just doing it in small pockets and each of us sharing how, what we're learning as we go. Because, if we don't build our new world, it's not one thing I was saying is a nightmare scenario is that tomorrow Trump gets on the television and he says, hey, the world's flat. We just misinterpreted the data sets and now it's flat and everything else stays the same. Debt slavery, mental slavery, everybody's just like, okay, we're on a stationary wet plate instead of a spinning wet ball. But if we don't build our new world, we're not going to have anywhere to go.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, I don't see, but is it feasible? I mean, how do we get that done? What's the first step into, I don't know. I mean,
well, I the way I described it. Sorry, my dog. Hey. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Get in your crate. Come here. Get in your crate. Is to just do it one by one. Get in the crate. Get in the crate, buddy. Be nice. It's okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I'm trying to do it for myself. So my wife and I, we have a property, we have a house, just a traditional house. And we're going to build our garage into a tiny house and then move into our garage and rent out our front house. So that gets us net zero. And then I'm going to learn how to build a house basically when I build out the back house. And I'm also building a solar panel on our back of our house so we can be unplugged from the utility. And then do little water catchment and just basically do a model on my own property from what I've learned from living in the eco village. And then once we are net zero, because all of our bills will be paid for by the house being rented out, then we can try to buy a little plot of land, like, and anywhere between $500 and $500,000, wherever our budget ends up in there, probably closer to the 500 end, and then just start building them. And like try to find a land with has like 80 acres, 100 acres, so that we could just buy that first acre, build a house, and then maybe Mac Flat Earth Fokker's like, hey Mac, you want to buy this house for 20,000 or whatever, and then get one by one build these houses that we create, a village, a community in. And it's just a model that we share so that somebody in the UK can do it. Maybe Trinity Forest start a community up there, and somebody in Brazil, somebody in Asia, somebody in New Zealand. And we just start, basically planting flags and, growing our philosophy, our way of life.
How are you going to build a community on the property that's really still owned by them? You're going to have to pay property tax and everything else, though.
Well, the idea is like, remember you talked to the guy that's the Flat Earth Church, the Church of Flat Earth?
Yeah.
That if you build it under a religion, then they can't tax you. So that's like, I feel like we are in some kind of spiritual game where the rules are still there. They may be in fine print, they may be on the last page of the book, but we still have a way to walk the path here if we go to the last page and read the fine print and, do the dance with the devil long enough till we earn our freedom. And slowly just create a model. So if one community is able to do that and show like a separation of church and state, then the next person is like, oh shit, let's do this. And, gather 5 people in like the Northwest and Southeast, the Northeast, the Southwest, and start, breaking free of this beast system, this debt matrix, this controlled propaganda machine that's just got us wasting most of our lives to this point.
Yeah.
To be fed into the system. Because I just, they've done it already. They did it with crypto. Like they took over the whole crypto community, and now it's all basically controlled and owned by.
Well, of course it was controlled. Why did people think that wasn't going to be controlled any easier than paper fucking money and all the other currencies? I mean, it's just digital currency. I don't understand why people all thought that was going to be the escape out of the system. I really don't get that.
But
I thought for a while.
Think about it. It's the same thing as YouTube. It's like we're using YouTube, right? This is a controlled platform.
I know that, but I recognized that before I got on here. That's why it took so long to get on here. I wasn't going to come on for that. There's people that got into the crypto and think they're just totally cut out from the control of it. And I don't know, man. I don't know enough about it. I'm not going to go on and on, but I never understood it, I guess.
Yeah, but the main hook of this system, the main hook of this matrix beast debt system is money. If we all stopped using their money tomorrow, we win the game. But what are we going to start using? So we need to start figuring out our own systems outside of their systems if we're going to have any chance of actually making this thing a reality. And so like cryptocurrency is just an idea. It's just a mathematical algorithm that you can use to basically keep account, to securely account from peer to peer without a third party. That's the pure idea that was presented. Now, yeah, it's been bought up and now it's controlled by the market riggers, and all the centralized exchanges are probably double, triple, quadruple like trading what they actually have. So we're just back to the fiat because we're using centralized exchanges. Yeah. If we get out of the centralized exchanges and just go crypto to crypto, or and then not just crypto, then we also have local gold and silver. I mean, this is basic stuff. This is what society used to use. And I was watching footage earlier today from like 1911 in New York City. Everybody's in suits. Everybody's dressed to the nines. Every single street you go on, nobody's homeless because they were using real money and people had real knowledge, and we weren't put into these fantasy camps of celebrity like actors and musicians and video games that just take all of our attention and leave us with nothing at the end of the day except for a feeling. And this is all by design that they've programmed us into this culture. It's the cult that we are giving our energy away to. And until we take it back and build into the 3D for ourselves, we're not going to get anywhere. I mean, we're going to get somewhere because we're waking people up. But I mean, this next step is us building into the 3D.
Yeah.
Outside of their systems.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I really don't know what the next step is. I mean, but what you're saying is definitely a good idea. It's a good start, that's for sure.
Yeah. Did you if you had a fantasy, like if you had you got to make a wish right now, and it's like what steps realistically could you see a future unfolding where this thing slowly breaks down? Or do you see us living and dying in this thing and just trying to be the voice of reason as it happens?
I literally look at it different, and I literally look at it like we're never going to completely break the system, but we're going to spiritually get out of here, is what I think. I think the trap's going to remain, and we're going to spiritually get out. I don't think we're going to take down the whole system, honestly. I think we need to wake enough people out to make that journey out of here spiritually and recognize all the lies and recognize the matrix, but I don't think we're going to be able to take it down. I think we're going to leave it. That's what I think. Karen, what do you think? You've been quiet. And I don't hear her. Okay, she must not be there.
I just stepped back down. You never look at the private chat.
Oh, I didn't know. Sorry. What? I can't even see the private chat. What the fuck is it? I don't know.
It's in the private area.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see it. Sorry. Karen, what do you think about land, people making their own little like compound houses together? What type of problems do you see from that, from government intervention? This is what this call has been talking about.
I think I think it's a great idea. If you find a group of people that you want to live with and you want to, everybody work together to do different things to help provide for each other, like that's a great way to live. That's how it should be done. Everybody has their job that they provide for the group, and then everybody benefits from it because they're all doing something different. I mean, this is, that's like the true barter system. It's tribal living. That's what it is. And, I'm all for that. That'd be great. How do you do it without the government butting in? Great question. As far away from government as possible, or you kind of have to do it like half, as much on your own as possible, but like still have like a toe in the matrix, like how they want you to be. They still want you to be attached to the system, the grid somehow. When you build even if you build a tiny house and it could be totally sufficient off the grid, they're like, well, no, you still have to be connected to the grid and blah blah blah, and they have all their stupid rules. Okay, yeah, you could do that, but at the same time, you could still, if the shit hit the fan, you could easily convert that living to work without the grid working. You know what I mean? Like you just sort of have to walk that line. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, I think that would be part of the community too, is like as each pocket figures out like how did you guys get out of taxes? It's like, oh, well, yeah, we registered through the religious thing, or we found someone that would sell us a piece of land for $1. And then we, on the back end, we gave them something, gave them a horse or something. I don't know what you give them up for the other end, but you know what I mean? Like on paper, if it's $1 worth of land, then what's the tax on that? Like a penny a year. So like, it's like trying to figure out the loopholes and helping each community, like as they figure out which loopholes are, getting them more and more unplugged from the matrix of manufactured scarcity. I mean, it's just absurd to me that you plant one seed, you care for it, and you're given this infinite abundance of seeds for the rest of your life. And from that, law of nature, we live in the most debt of any time in history ever. And so for people that really have trouble seeing that there's like a conspiracy, it just blows my mind that you live in this scarcity system that's obviously against nature itself.
Yeah. I agree, man.
But
hey,
we're programmed.
It's a good plan. I don't know how long.
Learn how to do as much stuff yourself as you possibly can. The easiest thing to learn is how to grow food. Learn how to grow food, and then not just how to grow it, but how to can it and preserve it.
Yeah. Although those are like sacred arts that have been lost, but are not completely lost. You have to just tap back into the community.
It's not completely lost. It's easy to do. I mean, that's one of the first things I learned how to do was how to grow food, and then I learned how to can it and preserve it. So I can grow food, and I can
Yeah,
also can
that's the growing part. We don't know the canning part yet.
Yeah, it's easy.
Well, I just wanted to float that idea and see what you guys had to say.
I think it's a great idea. And I'm not going to be pessimistic and say it won't work. I'm just questioning, will it actually work? But I think it's certainly something people should need to try. But hey, I'm going to let you go. Let somebody else call. But how'd you find the channel originally?
Let's see, because you disappeared for a little while, and I think I used to follow you back then, just because back when autoplay actually worked and it wasn't auto propaganda. I think you came into my feed through just watching Flat Earth videos, but then you disappeared, and then probably through Fokker. I think I heard you either in the comment section of Fokker, or I think maybe you went and talked to Fokker one day, or he was going to be on your show, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you for calling in.
All right. Cool.
Hey,
good talking to you guys.
Wait, what's your name? What's your name again, so people know who you are?
Oh yeah, my channel is Renaissance Now, and that idea of let's all get. The Renaissance was supposedly when everybody had the highest. You could have all the highest information at once, and it's on Dlive. I do live streams, and on YouTube I do more cut together videos.
Oh, cool. Me and Karen are both on Dlive, so if you want our links. Just look in the show notes. I know they might have disappeared because YouTube keeps deleting show notes, but my mods will help out in the chat if they're not there. So follow us and we'll follow you back because sometimes we do shows over there.
Okay, yeah. I've been looking for you on Dlive. Have you over there once a week or something?
Just kind of randomly here and there. My screen name is if you put Dlive / whatever, it's Brian S. Staveley. So it's got my middle initial. Brian S. Staveley is my username, and Karen B is Karen B FE. That's the one, right, Karen? Or is it the other one?
Just Karen B. Karen _B. It's funny though, because over there on Dlive, my OBS, the last time I tried to stream there, the sound wasn't going through. I don't know. It started out super easy, and now it's
sounds okay.
OBS what?
I was using OBS earlier today on Dlive, and it was okay. So it might have been.
It might have been Karen's piece of crap computer.
It might have been.
Not that mine is any stellar.
Crashed when I tried to come on here. My computer, I had these striped lines going across my screen. I was like, that doesn't look good.
All right, buddy.
That's
thank
okay.
you.
NASA's live feed today had striped lines go across it. So if they have $60 million a day and they have striped lines, it's okay that we do. All right, guys. Good talking to you.
Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate the call. Awesome stuff. All right, next call. 978-435-0006. Give us a ring ding dong. I really don't know what the plan is, honestly. I'm kind of just going on what I feel my gut is day to day. Just trying to get people, trying to spark people on their journey and to stay open-minded to all sorts of topics and try and put the pieces together. I don't know what the next step is. We might not know yet, Karen. I mean, do you feel that we're kind of being guided a little bit? I do. I feel there's a little bit of guidance going on. I'm going to be just kind of led the right way to go as
right now for me, and I don't know if everybody else feels this way. Stop.
Keep going. Unknown caller. Keep going. I'm not answering unknowns.
Well, I always feel like there's times when you just kind of go with the flow, and there's other times when there isn't really a flow. There's an ebb. It's kind of like the tides. There's an ebb and a flow. There's when things are kind of sitting around, and then when things are kind of going back and forth. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but right now, to me, it feels like one of those times where things are just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, me too. Well, because the pieces are in place. I mean, you've done the conferences.
Things are just kind of calm, but there's not a big tide right now. There's not a lot going back and forth. It's just kind of where it's that point in the water where I don't know if anybody who swims in the ocean, if you swim in the ocean, you kind of get caught in certain periods of time when there's a heavier tide and whatnot. And there's other times where the sea just kind of fills up. I don't know how else to describe it, but it fills up the area. It just kind of, it swells, and then it's just kind of calm, and you can just kind of float there in the water. feel like that's what's happening right now. I'm just kind of floating in the water.
So, sir, unveiling this realm. You're on Brian and Karen. Who's this? Hello.
Hello.
Hi, who's this?
Hello. This is Gil from Chicago.
Hey, what's up, Gil from Chicago?
I can't believe it. I got through. Son of a bitch. I cannot believe it. Well, that's great. How you been? It's wonderful. Listen, I have some questions for you. I actually wrote down some stuff for you guys, and I should actually put on the screen so I could. I've been drinking a little bit, so you'll have to excuse me for the speech.
No, that's cool. Turn the volume down.
Yeah,
turn that volume down.
So, a question for you, Black Tom. Okay.
Yeah.
How did Brian Staveley find Black Tom?
How did I find it?
How did you find it? How did you find it?
I was not the one that discovered that Mandela effect, even though I talk about it the most. So there were, I heard it from somewhere in the earlier days of the community. I don't remember exactly where I heard it, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know how I first came across it. It was about 2 years ago, and that's that.
Right.
I don't really remember where. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I have some ideas about what's been going on. They're trying to fill in. They're trying to fill in with a false residue, like the Ed McMahon thing, only being associated with American family publishing. They're like trying to debunk all this shit. It's like, especially the thing with Kimmel. It seems to me you've reached a threshold where you're above being ignored. You have to be contended with. You know what I'm saying? And that's a good thing. What else? Oh, an insight about this whole Mandela thing. It seems to me that it's two things simultaneously. It's the miracle of the Mandela effect itself, which is like a mind-blowing fuck, because it's like it's not possible, but it is actually happening. And simultaneously, it's a miracle of people not being able to see it. That blows my mind as much as the effect itself. And
it blows my mind. Yeah. Well, the thing is, it blows my mind that they'll deny what they just admitted out of their mouth, because you could question these people. They're all affected.
Exactly.
Everybody that's listening right now, if you're doubting this, you're all affected. I could quiz you. I could get you with 50 Mandela effects in a matter of 5 minutes, no problem. But then you can still deny it, sure. But how did you come up with all the answers that you did that were all the wrong answers, allegedly now, and they match everybody else all the wrong answers of things that never existed?
Right.
Give me a break.
We are being played with. You know what I'm saying? And we are the people. We are able to see this shit. And your previous caller who was talking about like setting up like communes and settlements like the Amish and shit like that. I don't know. I can see myself like an Amish beard, right, with no mustache. It'd be a very cool look. But it's what we're doing is I think we're like finding each other. You know what I'm saying? It's like in the case of your father, I'm so sorry about your dad, not with this thing that he was disagreeing with you about, the disownment of people from their families, and then we look about and we find each other. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like a biblical thing. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy,
Dude, I 100% know what you're saying. I feel that this is my spiritual guide on the way out of here. And I think that the changes, a lot of it is due to us. I think that we're causing a lot of it, but I think a lot of it is signs from the creator to show us this fake matrix that we live in. And the stuff where, there's obviously disinformation pieces that come up to back up the new reality. But there's also stuff that gets popped back into our timeline, like those Ed McMahon AFP commercials, where there has to be more than just shills and AI and all this. There's an evil entity putting in the backstories into our timeline.
Well, there is.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: as these stories about Black Tom become suddenly available, people will stumble on it, and then the impossibility of Black Tom having happened will, or at least the impossibility of people not ever knowing about it will no longer exist, because they will be filled in. You know what I'm saying? But it's still. I'm telling you, it's a fact about it being closed. The arm being closed off for all that time. It still doesn't make sense. I don't know. What else do I have for you? I don't know. I don't know whether I have anything else more than I've given you so far.
What are your biggest Mandela effects? Give me a top three.
What's
top
that
three
now?
Top three Mandela effects.
Top three. Well, you know, and I have an insight for you about that. I'll answer your question first. Top three would be, well, Black Tom. I mean, that just blows my mind. And for me, one of the ones that blow my mind is the braces. Dolly's braces. You look at that thing, the scene, it makes no sense at all with the braces. And it's like, what the fuck? And what else would be number three? I don't know. I'll go to my other thing. I bet you, if you were to survey people who have the Mandela effect, the people of my generation, I'm 67 years old, they would see the six people. They would see the six people in the Kennedy thing. I think it's a generational thing. Because I remember six. I always remember six.
Really?
I don't mean to quibble with you, Brian Staveley, because you're brilliant. But I can explain away some of the things you said about the museums and shit. I've been on too long, so I'm going to go. You guys have a lovely night, and a pleasure talking to you all, okay?
All right, man. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. And let's get the next call. Ginger, you wanted to call in 978-435-0006. Call in now. I didn't know that was you calling unknown. Unknown, I'm going to assume it's a troll automatically. Here we go. Unveiling this realm. You're on with Brian and the Flat Earth New Age Witch.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Karen. How's it going?
Hey, who's this? Is it Ginger?
It's Ginger.
Hi, Ginger. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
So what's going on?
Well, I was just thinking about the Max Egan thing because I watched Jaron's stuff way back as well.
Yeah.
And I didn't see his new stuff he did recently. This is news, so. But I remember back then he just seemed to be like, if we talk about flat Earth, it's going to discredit all the other truths that he's been exposing, that sort of thing.
And I hate when anybody says that about any topic. They sound completely ridiculous. I hate that. We heard that for 9/11, no planes. We heard that for flat Earth. I hear it for Mandela. It's such a joke. I hate that. I'd be real aggravated if I would have heard that. I'm glad I didn't follow this guy.
But that seemed to be what was holding him back anyway, ages ago. And he probably didn't really honestly look into it until it's been eating away at him. The seed was planted, but the whole it's globe and flat Earth, that doesn't make any sense.
So did you heard that today?
No.
What did you think? What did you think once you heard it? Were you like, what the fuck? Or
Oh, I just heard it from your stream, so I haven't actually listened to it myself. So,
okay.
It's yeah, it's I just remember back in the day, it just seemed like he hadn't bothered to actually give it any time of day, and he again thought it was gonna discredit things.
When people don't give it the time of day, act condescending, and then take this many years to come around, I mean, why do we even take them that seriously? I have a hard time taking anybody seriously at this point. I'm so disappointed in some of these people. It's just like, I don't know. I never followed the guy, you know. I was well past, I don't know. I just never really looked at the guy. Did you used to follow his work? Or?
Not really, no. But I knew he was big in the truth movement.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been telling everyone I know for the last almost 5 years that the Earth is flat, and nobody gives me the time of day. So everyone's too busy with their own 9 to 5 and whatever they're doing.
Yeah, all their worries that have been put in place to keep them preoccupied.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
But so, I mean, I'm still telling everyone at my second job, I get like these really short visits with people when they're coming through to cash out if I'm gatekeeping, because
I work at a parking garage, and I literally open up a gate, and sometimes I'll just throw random flat earth snips and comments out there, which I find actually a lot of fun, of course. But yeah, you can't do it to everyone.
I could hear, dude. I could hear.
start-
I could hear the frustration in your voice, and I feel the same way, bro. It's so frustrating, and that people won't look into NASA, and they just put it up there as, this is all true, and it's like, that these people. I mean, some of them, some of them are wicked stupid, but there's a lot of people that aren't stupid people. Like, if they would just look at the fakery, like, just look at it, just take 10 minutes with an open mind, take everything you've been told off the table, be honest with yourself, and look at this CGI, look at this wire harnesses, look at these green screens, look at these cartoon pictures of where you live, every single one of them. Look at this car in space. I don't understand how people can or say, well, I don't believe the car in space, but I believe the rest of it. Well, why would they lie about any of it? Why would you believe liars? Why would you to believe in a liar? Why wouldn't you automatically assume that they're lying and they're the little boy who cried wolf until proven otherwise, if you want to even give them that opportunity to prove something otherwise at this point?
Oh yeah, it's obvious to me, but I've been looking into it for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And every time a Tesla rolls by, I give them crap just about Elon. Like, the cars are great. I'm sure they're fantastic cars, but it's not like Elon invented the car.
No.
He just bought a company. But yeah, I crap on Elon every time a Tesla comes through.
Well, I can't stand the guy. I mean, my stance. Agent against humanity, It's ridiculous.
But yeah, other than that, I guess I'll let you guys go, and you can pick up the next caller, because always entertaining to listen to you and Karen. So
All right, man. Thank you.
Thanks for streaming the way you've been streaming, because it's been great to have interviews and just conversations, because that's how I met a lot of people, was through like Patricia style conversations with people. Like, that's the first time I met or found David Weiss, was through Patricia's hot potatoes. So it's much on the same page, and I definitely enjoy the fact that you're exposing new people and bringing them to the community, because that's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. Hear fresh ideas, hear everybody's take on things, and actually hear different topics as well, too. That, I can't be versed in every topic, and I know that. I focus on some things more than others, for sure. Everybody does. So we all need to do shows like this where we cross over. I think it's great, and that's a huge reason. Besides the fact that she's super awesome, it's a huge reason I asked Karen to join me, too, so we can cross over all this stuff with people and put together different ideas. Like, she can go off not just about flat Earth, but about so many topics. Like, start talking about things to do with your body or health and things like that. I don't know shit. You know what I mean? So we need to have people put things together, do roundtables, and I like bringing all these people on that have a following and get their personal story, rather than just have Crow come on and talk about the lunar wave, or just have this person come on and talk about the Mandela effect, or just this person come on and talk about one thing. No, let's hear their story. You guys have all heard their specific topics, most of you. Let's hear everybody's story, their journey, and mix it up.
Yeah, that's definitely awesome, Brian. And Karen, thanks again for all you do. And like I said, I'll let you guys get to the next caller, and have a great night.
All right, you too.
Thank you, Ginger.
Bye.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. I really didn't know Ginger well until the last few months. He started calling in, and I mean, I recognize the chat. You know Ginger for a long time, Karen?
For a while, he's been streaming Jeranism on his channel.
Yeah. People in the chat was saying I need to explain Black Tom for the new people, and I will. I'll explain that real quick, and then we'll take 5 and come back. All right. So Black Tom, guys, what it is, real quick, and I'm going to explain it because people are asking me, and this is really important. All all of you guys probably, not all of you, but most of you probably came through some sort of background when you researched 9/11. On 9/11, there was a lot of narratives pushed. One of the most common one was 9/11 is the second foreign attack on U.S. soil. Pearl Harbor is the first. Over and over on the news, in the documentaries. Well, now in this reality, listen to this. In 1916, 2 German spies snuck in through New Jersey, blew off 100,000 pounds of TNT, blew out all the windows in Manhattan, killed 5, injured 120, and damaged the Statue of Liberty so bad on the torch that nobody has ever been there. Yet we've spoken to plenty of people that have been there, but that's not possible in this reality. Nobody's ever been there. It's been closed since 1916. So there's that. Think about that. How do you not know about that, people? And how do you debunk the fact that people have been to the torch, but now they could never have been there? So we'll take a quick break. We'll come back, open up phones. You're listening to Unveiling This Realm with Brian and Karen, and I'll see you in about 5 minutes.
Hello, are you spinning on a big pear? Stuck there with gravity. Perhaps you're chilling in a dome. Come on now, I don't believe you feel you're tricked. Well, I'll try to explain. You're probably living on a plane. Relax, relax, relax. Got some information first. Just basic facts. It ain't no ball, this thing called Earth. This isn't truth you are receiving. The distant ship shows on the horizon. A spinning ball don't rip the waves. There's no curve, but you believe what they're saying. When I was a child, I had a feeling the astronauts look like such buffoons. Now I got that feeling once again. I can't explain, you wouldn't understand. This is not what God planned. They lie. You become comfortably done. They lie. You become comfortably numb. Okay. Just a little pinprick. 'Cause you need your shots so they can keep you nice and sick. Why can't you stand up? I do believe it's working good. This NASA phony show. Come on, it's not a globe. It isn't true you are receiving. We never went to the moon. You never really were an ape. Stand still, but check out that balloon. When I was outside, I caught a fleeting glimpse out of the corner of my eye. Frozen plane parked in the sky. I turned to look, but it was gone. I cannot put my finger on it now. The truth is gone, the dream is gone. I have overcome, I'm no longer dumb.
Hello?
Watching the sun bake, thinking that it looks fake. All of the skies outside are covered in goo. Smoking a big tube, watching the YouTube. I'm coming, it's time to go in now. But what can he do? Sorry. Wow, that was unsmooth getting back. I don't know why it took so long to go from one song to the next. Are you here, Karen? You're here, right?
I'm here.
Okay.
I am here. Are you here?
Karen is here. I am here. I am here. Real quick, I want to tell people some other Bible changes, and I'll open the phones back up. In case you didn't know and you think the Mandela effect's a psyop, Jesus was now hung in a tree. Act 530 in about 70% of your Bibles. Planets are now in the King James Bible. In yesterday's interview with Crow, he said it a few times, and I didn't want to interrupt because he was on a roll, but he kept talking about the golden rule. Everybody in the chat, what is the golden rule? If you could type it real quick. Everybody in the chat. And I will tell you that it has changed. And this is another famous saying that you don't even have to know the Bible to know. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's not in your Bible anymore. In any version, it's all different, all of it. There are similar ways it's written, but it's all
Lord Jesus.
And the Lord's Prayer, Karen, that's one that you knew, right?
Yes. Or so I thought.
And so you thought, and the Lord's Prayer has changed, and trespasses has changed to debts and debtors. So there's that, and that's in your own Bibles. Pull them out and take a look. The book of Revelations doesn't even exist. It's the book of Revelation now. Always has been. Calling it a psyop, a little crazy. That's stuff that's sitting in your house. Phones are open. 978-435-0006. Matrix is in the Bible. You come out of your mother's matrix instead of her womb. No big deal. 1611 King James. Matrix.
What? Are you telling me I have a matrix now?
You have a matrix downstairs there.
Where's my matrix?
Where your womb would be. That is your matrix.
I have my own very own matrix.
Mm-hmm. And you push babies out of it.
I push babies out of my matrix.
Yep. Phones are open. Other historical events, the Lindbergh baby that was never found in my reality, now was always found shortly after the person was convicted in this timeline. Al Capone didn't die in jail. We talked about that recently, Karen.
Yes. I guess. Who knows? What the fuck?
978-435-0006. I'm failing this. Jesus, who the hell is that?
You never pick up that fast, damn it.
You just burped on the air to intro yourself to the best show in the world. With the best two people in the world and the best chat in the world and the best callers.
Right.
You listen, you got a lot to live up to.
Look what you bring out of me.
Is this Sailing Fan Man? Is this the Sailing Fan Man?
Yeah, it's Sailing Fan. Crap.
What's up, man?
Hey, I talk to you all the time. I'm going to say something to Carol real quick. So
Yeah,
we worked on the forest
please.
people, and I love your word because I don't want to call them those negative words anymore. So we brought some stuff for them. We baked them some cookies. Nothing ever happened. So I'll keep looking into it, but I just thought I'd give you an update that we made the attempt. So, but then it was funny because I had one of my kids here, and he's like, "What do you do?" And I goes, "Well, if they are out there, I want to coexist." And then he looked at me and he's like, "Well, you are coexisting." I was like, "Oh, he's right. Now you're just inviting him into your house." So I don't know where I'm going to do with him. I am coexisting. I'll just let him be maybe and move on from there. But just so I give you the update. But did you see, Brian, we posted a thing on Twitter. That rant you had with Crow was amazing. It really connects everything in just like a 2-minute clip or whatever it was, 30-second clip.
Oh, yeah, the
I don't know
part
if
that
you
you
saw
cut
that.
up. Yeah, no, I did see it. The part that you cut up with me and him when I was kind of going off for a minute or two.
Yeah. No, it was very interesting. It was quite an interview. And I thought it was interesting. I'm reading the chats and this one or one of the other shows, and people are still talking about cryptocurrency. And it boggles my mind that you would buy something that if there's no power, you can't access your money. I just don't understand that at all.
No,
But,
I never got that idea. I never got that idea.
But I've noticed the power of prayer is huge, and we've been doing things just in our little area, my wife and I, and we'll pray together in the scripture where it says, "If 2 or more come pray, I'm with you." And
now where it says if
and
2
it
or
really
3.
works. Oh yeah, I know it changed.
And the 2 or more will gather. I might be talking about a different part, but the 2 or more will gather now says when 2 or 3 gather in your Bible. That's changed as well, people. The Bible's butchered. You
Isn't
can't
that
deny this. The people that are denying this, they're just being ignorant and won't look into it. Every one of you, I don't care. I just said
what
it.
is? Oh, 2 or 3. So 4 people show up, you're screwed. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. The changes are weird. And I watched Awake and Sane. Of course, I really don't watch it. By the time I wake up, it's like ending its final thoughts. So I usually watch it on replay. But he had an interesting point. I think it was this morning. And he's like, there's that part in the Bible. And I'm new to the Bible. I just read it for the first time this year. But I remember a lot of these things. And sure enough, I don't know if it's Matthew. I can't quote where it is. But where Jesus heals this guy and he says to pick up his mat. And I totally remember that because he just read a damn thing, and now he's talking about he picks up his couch.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you don't want to believe in the Mandela effect, couches weren't around back when they wrote this. I mean, come on, people, let's wake the frick up.
Couch.
Couch. He picked up his couch. How the hell do you pick up a couch?
Well, people like they don't have the courage to get their paradigm shook, and it's crazy for me that people that will realize this whole existence of where we think we live and all of that is a lie, but they won't take this step and look at this as well because it's easily provable. I mean, you don't even have to give them answers to choose from. They'll recite things right out of their mouth, word for word, the way that they word. It's done. There's no unaffected. They're all affected.
Yeah.
I don't know why they won't accept it. Because it's just too scary for them. Oh, well, the Mandela effect can't be real because that can't just happen. Yeah, but you're basing that on the rules of reality that were given you by the same people that gave you the 93 million mile away sun, the spinning earth, the endless godless universe. Now we're gonna trust their take on what reality is. Get out of here. These guys are gatekeeping our spirituality. They're going to try and dismiss all this as hard as they can. Of course they are, because there is no supernatural to them. It's all hocus pocus to them because everything has to have a fucking equation or is done by their machines or their D-Wave computers or they want you to think it's CERN, which is just fucking NASA underground, in my opinion. I don't know how people buy into that shit. With Brian Cox, lead physicist there, Sally Field's brother, and Tom Hanks down there flipping the switch. Give me a break.
Truth. And the interesting thing on this whole thing is there's different levels to this awake, whatever you call it. I really hate calling it awakening because I'm not awake. We're continually waking up.
Yeah, well, it's an awakening process. That's fine.
I keep hitting levels and I'm like, okay, now we figured out up to here, and then nothing.
There's always
something
more.
else shows
There's
up.
more
I'm like,
after-
okay, it's like.
And that's
like
my
I told
point.
you, I was holding on to the ball until Karen showed up, and I watched that. Like I keep everywhere I can, Karen. I talk about how that's the video that switched me. The My Path to Flat Earth. I mean, I kept seeing flat Earth video feeds, and I was just like, those guys are retarded. What are they talking about? I'm relaying truth here. I'm reading Q. I'm figuring out shit, right? And then finally I was like, fine, okay, I'll read Karen's or watch it, and then just done. I was like, wow, I couldn't fight it. And everyone that talks about when they got into flat Earth, it's the same damn story. They ignored it. They ridiculed it. Then they went over to it just to dispute it and debunk it. And then they become it. And then they have to explain to people about flat Earth, and everyone thinks they're retarded. And at the same time, it's like, I tell them every time, I was you. Okay. I'm in my 50s. I'm very successful over the years, and I'm doing well, and I'm happy with my life. And I'm pretty smart, but all of a sudden they think I'm completely stupid or something. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, and you guys haven't even looked into it, before you just keep telling me anything I hate. You need to do more research. Stop watching YouTube people. Well, you know what? No, I'm doing tons of research. In fact, I'm doing way more research than any of the Ball Earth people, because they're just they watch a guy in a white coat and they just accept what he says and then go on from there. I brought up a thing about, the distance of the moon and all that. And someone was like, well, astrophysicists, they figured out all that. And I was like, you can't just say that. You can't just throw out the word astrophysicist. First of all, you don't even know an astrophysicist. And even if you did, once again, you're just taking his word for it. You didn't sit down and do the calculations and see if he was wrong. What if he's wrong?
It's a complete submission. It's a complete submission to authority. Like I said, these people are literally submitting their souls. They might as well just get down on their knees and open their mouth.
Yeah, it's sad. And you put on a white coat, and then there you go. You speak the truth, and everyone listens to you. But I'll tell you something, that it is a waking up process. And so, Karen made me let go of the ball that I was holding on to so tight. And I was like, okay, fine. So now I'm awake. Now I've learned everything. Hooray. And then frickin' Brian Staveley shows up. And he goes, hey, by the way, you know what? There was nobody in the towers. No one died. And it's like, what the hell? And so here I am again, okay, relearning things, right? Yeah. And then, I know she's there tonight because her channel's Truth Seeker 69. And my wife's telling me the names, because at first I just called her the nice lady with the smart kid. And and they did a channel or a live stream, and just I'll tell you what, real quick, the NASA logo, okay? So I was still a NASA boy. I love space and all that. And my wife came to me during our waking up process, and she goes, look at this, Richard, the snake tongue, the red vector that comes in. It's a snake tongue. I was like, okay, you're just looking for things. Okay, just calm down. Not everything is, whatever, conspiracy and all that. Well, of course, then I find out later she's absolutely right. Right? So then the same thing with Truth Seeker and what's his name? Steve, I think.
Yeah, Steve JMO. JMO. Yep.
Yeah. And so they're doing a show, and we're watching it. And now what I did in my awakening, I went deep into the Bible, because I'm like, the answers are in here. This is it's like Beetlejuice. They give you that guidebook on how to live when you're dead. I feel that's what the Bible was. He's like, here, you want to navigate through this because it's going to get really, rough waters. Read this, and it'll help you figure everything out. So now I'm grabbing onto it. I'm holding on to it. And then these two come on, and they're like, some is corrupt. And I think there was another guy, I forget his name, that talks about Genesis 2, might have been written by Satan, and you got to discern between the two. And I was like, immediately, once again, and I don't understand how they do this to us, but my knee-jerk reaction was I shut down. I'm like, oh, screw this, I can't believe they're talking this way about the Bible, blah, 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 blah. And now I take a step back, and I'm like, I'm hugging onto that Bible just like I did the planet, the ball.
Yep.
I believe the word and the message of God, it's still in there. See, I don't know what the hell do I know? But my thought is that Satan is allowed to screw with us to a point, but the real word, the message, the path to God, he can't alter. So he might change the stories, but the basic thought and the way you're passed to find the creator is still there. And I think it'll always be there. But that's where I figured out the Mandela effect on the Bible. Because when it started putting in men sleeping with men and women grinding together, and it's just like,
and people will still deny that it's changed. They'll deny that it's changed and won't even fucking open it to check. They're the ones that have fallen for the fucking grand illusion. They're the ones that are ignoring the spiritual awakening. They're the ones being blinded by that fucking fake religion.
What I think it is, because everything that happens here, it's God's. It's His ball game. Satan can do so much, but at the end of the day, God created everything, so He can do what He wants. And if the Bible's changing, my thought now is He's allowing it. And why is He allowing it? To wake us the fuck up. Sorry, Dad. But to wake us up to the fact that the Bible's been corrupted. And not only has it been corrupted, it's been corrupted for generations.
Yeah.
And we didn't know it. Now, I still believe the Word of God's in there. I just think that it's been messed with. I mean, when I read that the Lord's Prayer, not only the change that happened about trespasses and debts, but the whole idea of the part where He goes, lead us not into temptation. Well, that's impossible. God doesn't lead you to temptation. Satan does. So I feel the Lord's Prayer was corrupted way before we even learned it.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe that that's true. God's not going to lead you to temptation. Satan leads you to temptation. So, anyways, those are my thoughts from my porch, drinking my wine, having a doob.
Awesome. Well, hey, listen, I have to check on my dog, so I'm going to let you go real quick, okay? But thank you for the call.
Okay.
Right.
It's good talking to you guys. Hi, Karen. Good to see you. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, and I see that Rose is trying to call in. Rose, I'll have you call in next. Just let me take care of my dog real quick. So, Karen, can you now give the chat a shout out, and then
Yes.
we'll open the phones back up, and we'll let Rose call first. Okay.
Okay. Absolutely. Shout out to Rose Crow 777. Also, shout out to the Truth Seeker 69. Pat Riot, Informally Hip, Casey, Rusty Scott, Truth Sharing Mirror, Voynich, Slipping Freedoms, Valiant One, Dank, Captain Flatty, Yeetus McFetus. No, I'm still awake, Valiant One. Christopher Millington, Josh from Oregon, Ben D. Water. Ben D. Water, are you talking smack? Effie Mowry, hello. Blues Girl 65. Mad Pie Man. Truth share. I am not asleep. I just don't interrupt when people are talking. Hello. Oh my gosh, you guys are so bad. Now I'm going back and I'm looking at the chat and it's making me laugh. Oh, it's so funny. Now I can hear myself through Brian's I am not asleep. Mic or whatever the hell he's got over there. Oh, anyway, let's see. Let me finish shout outs if I can without laughing. Jeannie, Brandon C, Ginger Sugarbush 905. Hey,
I'm back.
No. Pat, hello. Zalmo.
Wow. Yeah, sorry I took so long, guys. My dog, like I said, he really can't even stand now. So I had to go pick him up and bring him in my room because he was crying out there. I'm gonna open the phone. I know Rose, you said you wanted to call, so you can call in. Everybody else, please wait. and then we'll open the phones back up for everybody. The phones are open now. 978-435-0006. It says still over 200 people here, so you guys are awesome. And we had 370 something people here yesterday. I saw at one point. So thank you, everybody that's new to the channel that came over. I appreciate it. And I think you'll really enjoy this channel. And we talk about a lot of things. And as you notice, the callers kind of talk about a lot of topics, and that's good. We have the best callers, hands down. I don't care what anybody says.
Absolutely. Best callers.
Definitely the best callers. All right, the phone is open for you, Rose. Give us a call, or else somebody else is going to ring in. 978-435-0006. Oh, Carla, nice of you to join us. We're just kidding, Carla. 978-435-00. Oh, we're putting cameras on? Hi, my name's Brian.
Why is it stuck?
Oh, why are you frozen? That's gay.
I don't even remember doing that anytime soon. That was weird.
Unveiling this realm. You're on with Brian and Karen. Who's this?
This happens to be Rose of Crow 777. Hello, Brian and Karen, who I can finally say hello to verbally. We've had 2 opportunities to meet each other, and I just don't know what to say. The universe screwed me over totally. I did see you while Jason was doing his presentation, and I wasn't even sure if it was you, because I just have been meaning to get into you, and this was the first time I heard your voice, and I was just thinking oh my gosh, it's just cool hearing her shout out. This is an awesome dynamic.
Hi. What, you were in.
I just locked my door so Jason doesn't come in here and take the phone, rip the phone away from me, and say, "Oh my God, what is she doing?"
No, were you in a Dallas?
Yeah, man. I was in. Oh my God, I feel like a stalker. I was sitting in the chair, live streaming to the Crow 777 discussion group. And then I looked to my left and I saw Dave Marsh walking towards me. So of course I shit a brick and almost needed to change my pants. And then I saw you, but he came towards me and he didn't realize I was live streaming. And I'm trying to make sure that my phone is going towards Jason and the presentation, and trying to be shouting out to people like what you were just doing, which is so cool. And yeah, so I just my brain couldn't make it happen where I could transfer into my wheelchair and roll towards you.
Karen, you're a celebrity.
No.
Yeah.
No,
I've heard
I'm
of
not.
your name forever, and I didn't realize you were the brunette with the awesome curly hair that I can't have because I'm 99.9 Ashkenazi Jew, according to my stupid parents who gave their shit to 23andMe. And so my hair is just black forever. So I hate it when people call women a goddess, but I just have to be oh, so you're Karen B, the one that people talk about, the one who says boner pills. Yeah, man, I'm just realizing what a stalker I am.
It's hilarious.
Anyway, you guys, the Kurt episode blew me away. I talked to Kurt today for an hour, and man, that guy is really onto something, and it's just something that really can't be provable. But wow, my mind's blown when he explains this stuff to me. And there's a lot of stuff that we don't even cover because, we like the show to be able to be listened to by 5-year-olds. We want to reach as many minds as possible. Mm-hmm. And, Pro's a freaking ex-Marine. He's a human being. So,
yeah.
Anyway, Jason just walked in.
What'd you think about the interview?
I thought the interview was amazing. In the forum, people were a little worried because they thought it might be quote unquote lower minded. And then everyone was blown away at how great it was. And I stayed for the whole entire time because I should be sick of hearing these guest appearances because it happens over and over again. But the dynamics between you two, I just knew ever since you started posting your content in the Coachable 7 group that it would be a fantastic conversation. And I just got to hear, new ideas. And I thought it was a real treat for people that were either aware or not aware of who he was.
Awesome. And you guys brought a ton of people because these shows usually now get a little over 200, but we had almost 400 people live yesterday watching. So.
Yeah, but I thought that had something to do with people who respect your work and were excited to hear this conversation. And I also thought that Karen was going to be there too. So I thought that was going to be cool. So anyway, that was a really, great interview. And I just appreciate your work. And I know that, the show hasn't covered the Mandela effect, but the one thing, hey, Jason is here right now. Jason, do you want to talk to Brian? Tell Brian what you got Crow on with the Mandela effect.
Oh, that's an easy one. Put it on speaker.
Can you guys hear? Wait.
Yeah. What's up?
Can you guys hear Jason?
Yeah. A little bit. We could.
Here, why don't I make it better by just giving him the headphones and he's going to explain. Oh, okay, speakerphone might be bad reception because we're in the country of Louisiana. All right.
Country.
What would you have to add, Jason?
So Brian, which Mandela effect do you think I got him on? Mandela, by the way.
Oh man, I don't know. Can you give me a clue?
Shaken, not stirred.
Oh, with James Bond?
Yeah, I got him on the Moonraker one.
Yeah, Dolly had braces. That's what I was gonna say because I thought I remembered him saying Dolly had braces, man.
Karen, see, this is the thing. I'm young. I'm 34. Jason's 46, and as Crow always says, he's old as dirt. Jason looks like he's 25. He looks younger than me. But I've never seen Moonraker. I don't know anything about James Bond. I'm into the slasher films of '85. So anyway, I just don't understand why it would end that way. Why the fuck would a girl without braces suddenly just be enamored by the thing that's supposed to be funny at the end? There's no reason why they would go off together without braces on. And then didn't we find residue, Jason? You found residue.
Well, other people have. There's commercials and references. I think there's one of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
I don't remember everything.
No, can you show me a clip of her wearing the movie?
Well,
no.
What happened after you got him with it, Jason? So did you say, well, now she's never had braces? What did he say? And did you say, well, can you show me a copy that she has them? Or how did the conversation go after that?
I haven't actually did that. And sooner or later, I'm going to be able to get to my own VHS copy from the 80s. It's at my mother's house in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But I know what I'm going to.
Yeah, you know what you're going to find. There's not going to be any braces.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. But I just think, and I have a very good memory, as anybody who knows me knows, but I can't explain it. And when I got Crow on it, he said, you're right, she had braces. I remember her having braces. But he's convinced that this is some sort of setup or psyop or something like that. He does not think that there's a more esoteric thing to it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not a psyop, and I know he says he thinks it's a trick and just finding out how the trick's done. Well, there is no trick because things in our possession are changing and incrementally in front of us as we're watching them, like Star Wars, Wizard of Oz, the Bibles, they keep changing as we're watching for changes. It's like, come on.
Right. There's something to it. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't like things that are this out there, so I tried my best to dismiss a lot of the Mandela effect stuff. And I did. Like, for instance, there's a channel that I know a lot of people go to called Moneybag 73.
I like it.
I think is the title. And a lot of this stuff is good. But for instance, there was a Doors song, and it was I think it was Break On Through the Other Side. And being the music dude I am, I went and dug through that and found that the thing that he thought was the Mandela effect was actually the fact that in the 90s reissue that I remember listening to times with the girl I was dating at the time. I remembered both, and I ended up finding out there was one version where he doesn't say she gets high, and then there's another version where, the original version where he goes she gets high. Both versions exist, official releases.
Yeah.
He thought it was a Mandela. So you got to watch these things. You have to do your due diligence with it.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, I put out so many and people haven't really debunked any of them. You know what I mean? I'm careful about it. And I'm not saying I won't make a mistake along the way. Everybody makes mistakes, but that's why I don't put out, every new Mandela effect and do a video. I have like 30 videos of like my top ones that I'm really sure of. But yeah, we do need discernment just like in any community. But one thing we know is this is definitely going on. And as little as people like it, it's affecting all of them. They're just in denial. They haven't realized it yet. There's not one person I know that I can't trip up with a ton of them,
Now, there's one that I still haven't figured out at all, and that's where our supposed place in the Milky Way galaxy is supposed to be.
Yeah. That's one that got. That one is that convinces me. Go ahead, Jason. I'm sorry.
Well, there's two different things you can find. One, and they're both quote unquote unofficial sources. One says that we're out in the very edge, which is the Sagittarius arm, which is where we always have been since I was a kid. And even the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy makes a joke about that right in the very beginning of it.
My seventh grade teacher was a cute guy, and I remember he was a Canadian from Saskatchewan, and I totally remember seeing the us on the edge of the arm, okay? And we don't forget what our thoughts from when we were 13, right, girls?
Now, if look, we're supposedly in the Orion sector somewhere, or whatever they call it, the Orion section, that's much further in, like more kind of like an outer middle, but nowhere near in a spiral arm, like on the end. So
yeah,
making that is
well, that's huge for a lot of people. And in fact, I did a video on it the other day about the high priests of science and how they're all Mandela affected. And I have Neil deGrasse Tyson and Carl Sagan both telling you that we're on the Sagittarius arm and residue. So how's that? You know what I mean?
right. So maybe that's the older way, is the Sagittarius, and and I find just if NASA, / the astronomical community updated it, but they didn't. It just seems like no, we've always kind of a thing. And I even asked someone that everyone might be familiar with, and that's the great Baldini. I said, where are we in the Milky Way galaxy according to mainstream sources? And he knew. He knew the old way. And then I said, what if I told you we're in the now? He's like, wait, what? And he went and looked. He's like, holy smokes.
Yeah. That's a big one. A lot of people in this Mandela community talk about, I come from Sagittarius, and I don't believe in this whole big one shift, because we wouldn't see incremental changes and stuff like that, and we would all see the same effects. But people say, I came from Sagittarius. It's like a huge one for a lot of people. For me, knowing what I know about NASA, it's not as huge for me, but it's still a Mandela effect, because the information going all the way back has changed from what we were always remembered,
Yep. So my honest answer with the Mandela effect is we need to keep researching, because I just know.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know. And it's all we know is it's definitely happening, and it's affecting everybody. And it's pretty wild, because physical things are changing. Physical matter, the past, it throws what is time into question. It throws everything into question, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I definitely want to explore that further. I mean, is it some kind of really high developed psyop? I don't know. I really.
I mean,
that's the one I want to figure out.
How could it be so confusing to me? Because it just doesn't make any sense, even though I've never seen the movie.
Well, it's not funny anymore. The whole point.
Exactly. I'm all about comedy. I feel like I study comedy and what the truth is trying to convey through it. And so.
Oh well, but there you go.
There it is.
Yeah. Well, Jason, if you ever want to do a show and just hammer it out and talk about it, let me know. I'm your guy.
Yeah, I'm always down, brother.
All right, cool. We'll do something soon then. Awesome.
All right. Well, I'm sure you have other callers that want to contact you, so I'll let you guys continue this awesomeness.
All right. Thank you. And thank you for reaching out to me and setting up that interview with Crow for yesterday. That was awesome. Appreciate it.
I make it happen. And by the way, the channel that Jason mentioned, Moneybags 73, something did was that at the end of his video, it'd say, all right, if you remember this, do thumbs up. If you don't remember it, thumbs down. You can see what people are saying. Yeah, but that was before I discovered your work, and I got to check them out, because I've just been, binging on your stuff since. So anyway, thank you for being awesome and having Crow on. And I just love that all of us are uniting, under a common unifying goal to understand the nature of reality.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for calling, guys. You guys are awesome.
All right. Cheers. Bye.
Well, that was an awesome call, as usual. Another awesome call. We get the best calls. Check out Jason's YouTube, Secrets of Saturn. He's on every Wednesday night. So he was on last night with Wayne McCroy, who I've done the show with about the Mandela effect, actually, about 2 years ago. Before I did these YouTube videos, we did a big round table about the Mandela effect, and he was on it, and we got into a whole bunch of theories is what we get into, what we think is causing it. So you had people that thought it was CERN, people thought it was Satan, AI, simulation, God. We all just kind of laid it out there, and that's what it should be able to do. People with such different views and theories on what's happening should be able to put it together because we really don't know, and we're really all going through the same thing together, just like with the NASA lies or with the fake terror and the fear porn. They're doing it to all of us. We're all going through it. So what if we had different theories on it? We're talking about the fabric of reality being completely different than what we thought, time and matter being malleable, and you think that we're all going to have the same theories on what's causing it? That'd be fucking ridiculous, dude. Ridiculous. 978-435-0006. 978-435-0006. Yeah, so definitely check out their show, Secrets of Saturn, every Wednesday night. I believe they're on at 9 Eastern over there. And check out Crow's channel, which was linked below yesterday's video, CRROW 777. All right. Since the phone is not ringing for a second, Karen, I'm going to take a quick break, all right?
Okay.
Just 5 minutes. I got to check on the dog real quick. Oh, we got a call. Hang on.
Okay.
Unveiling this realm. You're on Brian and Karen. Who's this?
This is Karen.
Okay, turn down the volume. Karen, who?
Yep, I just said sorry.
It's okay. This is Karen, you said?
Yes, Karen.
Okay, what's going on?
First of all, I just want to thank you and Karen for doing shows like this.
Awesome.
I recently have been waking up, as you would say. So I've just been listening and, taking my journey. So I just want to say thank you.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've been trying to. It's kind of funny because, at first when I was finding things out and everything, it was like a little bit scary, but then it was like, you really can't be afraid. You have to kind of look into things. Don't let other people tell you. You have to look into things and find your own truth. And because, yeah, it's kind of funny now because as a little thing, I was telling my husband because he does not want to be told about stuff.
Does he act like you're crazy, or does he just don't tell me?
Well, it's kind of funny because a year ago, I showed him a video of it was 1980s. They were doing something in space, and it was a video, and it was a total. You could tell it was a model, but they were passing it off as real, and you could see the guy's glasses in the background, the guy's head in the glasses or whatever. And so I showed it to him. I'm like, "What do you think about that?" And he's like, "I can't think about it."
Wow, so he just glitched out
mind.
on you. He just glitched out on you. That's crazy.
He's like, it blew his mind. He's like, I don't know what to think. He's like, that's just, I don't know what to think. He's like, so then he went to work and then he came home and he's like, I just want to let you know, you ruined my whole day. He's like, you ruined my life. So I was like, he's like, growing up, I love all this space stuff and everything like that. Now it's all a lie.
Well, at least he sees it. At least he sees it now, It's a big deal,
yeah,
dude.
definitely.
I mean, it's a big shocker for people. Just think of. I mean,
I know.
just take
Yeah.
all for granted.
Yeah, I had to break up with
Well, I mean,
Space too.
yeah, and he still watches like Star Trek and stuff like that. And I'm like, I wonder how they like shoot rockets off like in the vacuum of space. And he's like, don't start with that stuff. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. And then I got him recently because he used to love like daytime TV, like all that, like Judge Judy and like all that stuff. So I knew I was going to get him with the Judge Judy Mandela.
Oh yeah, easy.
With
That's
the no
walk in the park.
with the no gavel. He was like thrown through a loop. He's like, no, I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to prove it to you. I know it's true. I'm like, no, not in this reality.
Yep. So anybody that's listening, if you don't know, Judge Judy never had a gavel in this reality, which is ridiculous because she used to hit that gavel down every time she was a court was out of order type of thing, and at the end of the day too, all the time. Now she's never had a gavel.
Yep.
You can't show us an episode out of all those episodes where she has the gavel. But you can call this a psyop, but you're just full of shit. What was your biggest Mandela effect?
Yeah, exactly. It can't be a psyop if everyone is thinking the same thing, remembering the same thing.
Yeah,
it's
ridiculous.
It's crazy. Yeah, and it's really hard because like my family is very into like politics, and it's really hard. And a while ago when I found out like things were fake, I tried to wake my brother up, and I sent him a video of like where you could see like stuff was being staged. And I was like, trying to wake him up. And he's like, I don't see what you see, but I respect the fact that you see it differently.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, maybe he's on a different path than I am. So then he just came in town last week, and he's like, oh, so what's your political stance recently? I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes people are meant to like trigger you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
well, it's like a test. They're like put in front of you as a test.
Exactly. I just was like, you know what? I don't watch the news or anything. I just said it like that because I've tried to show other people. I've tried to say like, turn your TV off and just kind of think about things for a minute. Like, try not to take in what other people are telling you. Just kind of think for yourself. And it just, they can't do it.
No,
yeah,
I know.
I can't do it. But so I just wanted to say thank you. And so I
Can
thought
you
that
tell
was
us
kind of funny, the Judge Judy.
Two questions before you go. Your biggest Mandela effect and how you found this channel originally.
Biggest Mandela effect, I want to say, is the Publishers Clearinghouse thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, I know that I've seen a picture on an envelope with the Publishers Clearinghouse thing. I know that. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy. And I found your channel a long time ago when you were doing the 9/11 stuff. So, but I just recently, I've been watching again and everything like that. So, yeah.
All right. Awesome. Thank you for the call.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Karen, I'm going to take 5 minutes, okay?
Okie dokie.
All right, guys. We'll be right back. 5 minutes. Stick with us.
sunbaked, thinking that it looks fake. All of the skies outside are covered in goo. Smoking a big tube, watching the YouTube. It's time to go in now, but what can he do? Staveley's going live again in Centerville, searching for truth, taking some calls. Some people claim there's something wrong with his brain, 'cause he knows we don't live on a ball. Chatting and ranting about the moon landing, community strikes and hate speech on YouTube. But he's such a cutie when he shakes his booty. He says kneel to grass and Bill Nye to take the loot. Staveley's live tonight, but not in Centralville. No one even knows that's now what it's called. All of his subs know he's not gay or insane, but they know he's got something from Paul. Mandela affected, the facts are collected, plenty of proof that our memories are good. Flintstones and flip-flops, McMahon and his truth drops. It's a beautiful day now in this neighborhood. Staveley streaming truth tonight in Centerville. Karen B. Young, caller watching the chat. Some people claim we got nothing to gain, but we know it's still and it's flat. Panama Canal runs north to south now. Most people claim it was once east and west. It's not magic mirror, but we can see clearer, 'cause everyone here knows that we're the fucking best. Staveley's premiering videos in Centerville. Might be at work or even in bed. Sometimes he claims he's going live on the main, but he don't. He gets Staveley'd instead. Everyone now, he gets Staveley'd instead.
I've been a flat earther for nigh on 3 years, and I've heard every argument there is a sphere. But now it's been proven that arguments flow. I never will buy into the globe no more, or its bendy water. Bendy water no more. No, I'll never believe it. I know that for sure. I went to a scientist to ask his consent, to ask him the question, can oceans be bent? I said, dear Biden, he answered me nay. You're talking out your ass, and that's all I can say. So it's bendy water, bendy water no more. No, I'll never believe it. I know that for sure.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to Unveiling This Realm with Brian and Karen. And I will open the phones back up. Great calls tonight again, as usual, guys. Oh, I am so stuffed up today. Well, not stuffed up, actually. I had allergies and I just kept sneezing and sneezing and sneezing. Now I'm stuffed up.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'll be fine. Oh, I want to give a shout out, guys, to Gypsy Road. I did a show with them today, and it was really cool. 2 hours long. It was on their channel. Unveiling This Realm. You're on with Brian and Karen. Who's this?
Hey, Brian, it's Fritz, Trapper Dreamer.
Hey, what's up?
Not too much. How you guys doing?
I'm good.
Great.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, man. I don't know. I guess I could talk about. I had a long journey back into this kind of stuff, and I was raised Catholic, but when I grew up, I saw that was kind of weird for me going to church, and it got, I know for a lot of people, because the church is obviously sketchy, but like as stuff went on, I sort of became agnostic and kept going from there. And then 9/11 happened, obviously, and I was working at Cartoon Network at the time, and that was like when I really sort of, as soon as I saw that, I knew it was a sketch, and I started going just straight into the rabbit hole at that point. You know what I mean? And like started telling everybody, trying to open people's eyes up to it. Like you just got tons of resistance over, you know, it was tough, and people fought it, and it was, you know, I'd have eventually people coming around years later and saying, "You remember that thing you told me? Like that's pretty insane. Like that's pretty sketchy." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. You gotta look into it, you know." And
at least they came back and some of them said that it's pretty sketchy. I haven't really had too many people come back to me and like, "Hey, I'm sorry, and this is what you told me," and blah blah blah. I haven't really got that.
I know. I can be pretty persuasive when it gets to it. I mean, I don't like. I try not to be opinionated. You know, I research. I don't. You know, I was big into sports and stuff when I grew up, and I just started realizing that it was just distracting. I feel, you know, it's kind of like nowadays, like you look at like fantasy sports is just like Dungeons and Dragons for.
Oh,
you know.
yeah, that consumes all your time too. That's so time consuming. It's
Yeah, and it's just like, I mean, you talk to these people and like they don't want anything to do with anything. They'll bitch and complain about how the world is, and then you ask them about
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, you ask them about who like the starting lineman was for like the '75 Steelers, and they can tell you everything about it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then you're like, yeah, but did you know that like all these buildings fell in 9/11 and it was in free fall, and it was obviously nothing like they told us. One of the things that cracked me up was when I saw that, I think it was PBS or something, they did a Nova special on 9/11 a couple years afterwards. Like it was all based off the NIST bullshit, and they showed like they did like a little computer animation. I did 3D animation and modeling, and they show like they're trying to explain the, you know, the core columns are there, and the cross beams get hot from the jet fuel, and then they start pancake collapsing. And then in the animation, they literally leave all the core columns standing, and they just show all the, you know, the floors pancaking, which is what I always told people. I'm like, dude, there at the very least be a giant tree stump, if you want to call it, of like debris. Wouldn't have just disappeared like into itself.
Do you know who Edna Citron is? Do you know who Edna
What's that?
Centron is? Do you know who Edna Centron is?
Sounds familiar.
She's a woman that's
Yeah.
allegedly a 9/11 victim, and in the photography that she's in, and it's also a video. I forget
Mhm.
which channel it had. It might have been National Geographic that shows her footage. I can find out after. She's in the hole that's allegedly made by the airplane, which they're saying is the source of the heat, right? The jet fuel from the airplane, and that she's
Yeah.
standing in the hole for like 25 minutes waving, and there's no type of fire or heat or anything.
Yeah,
It's just
just like at the you know, the Pentagon. I don't know if a lot of people haven't seen the photos of the like the part where before the classic thing is where that top like roof fell down on a diagonal, but there's photos of that before that happened, and you could see like books and sit like a wooden stool and books sitting there like right at the edge of the second floor. And a lot of people don't realize that thing went through like, you know, each level of the Pentagon is like 3 feet thick of steel reinforced concrete that's like meant to be, you know, defensive, and it blew through the first one, through all the offices, out the first wall, through the courtyard, into the second wall, through all the offices, out the wall, and then through this third courtyard, and made like a 16-foot hole in there. So it was like obviously like a bunker buster cruise missile kind of thing. And most people don't understand that if you see one of them things, they kind of look like a mini plane. And if you're glancing up at one as it comes by real fast, and they might have had it painted like a plane, people say, oh, I saw a plane. But if you're looking up and you have no reference to, you know, say you have a little plane model of an actual plane, and you're just looking up at the sky, you don't know if that's a big plane far away or a little plane closer. So it made sense that people are like, oh, we saw planes, but it obviously wasn't. A plane wouldn't have gone through so many.
I don't even think
levels.
I don't even think they put a missile, and I think they just blew a hole in the building. And you know, one of the reasons why too, because just like, you know how they talk about the stand down order, like NORAD stand down order. NORAD didn't need to stand down from anything because there was nothing happening. So if they don't actually put a missile through the air, there's no pilots that with fighter jets and seeing something on their radar that are going to question it or anything like that. They don't want to introduce that whole variable into it when they don't need to. They had this completely controlled.
You know what it made me think about was weird was like, because around that time they talked a lot about bunker buster cruise missiles. And how, you know, they had like tomahawks and all these things, and they were meant to penetrate, you know, and that was like their big thing they brought up, like when they had, you know, the first Gulf War and stuff. And that, like, you know, I mean, it was like the way it blew up was like on a diagonal, cutting through like each section of the Pentagon, and it made just like these big holes in each section. Of course, you know, I'm sure a lot of people in there, it was like their budget analyst office of the $2.2 trillion that was missing that Rumsfeld announced the day before. And that's a half decent amount of money to disappear. But
yeah,
I mean, yeah, all this kind of stuff. I used to tell people all the time. And then like you were asking, I mean, I definitely had people that would come back a couple years later. I'd see them at the bar or random places, and they'd be like, dude, like, that's crazy. Like, I was looking into this, and that is weird. And I'm like, I know, you gotta look to it, you know. But I mean, this kind of thing started happening, and then leading out of that was I had a weird experience. I actually did some mushrooms one time on 4th of July, and I kind of reluctantly did it with my buddy and went to see this band called Splinter Sunlight, which is like a dead cover band. And I've done shrooms a couple of times, done some psychedelics before in the past. I'm 44 now, but this is probably like 5, 6, 7 years ago, and the craziest thing happened because usually if somebody's tripping, you get everybody talks about, you get to see visuals, things are moving and people look different, stuff looks different. No shit. I'm sitting at the bar, at the venue, band's playing, and I look over, and literally every couple people, it might be like, you know, there's a lady here, guy next to her, guy next to him, another chick, the bartender. Not everybody, but just certain people literally looked like, the best way I can describe it is like the orcs from fucking Lord of the Rings. And it bugged me out because I would look right next to the person that looked like they had come and ordered some food, and they were just like, I don't know how to explain it. Their whole face was weird. They were just their mannerisms, they all looked like demony. And then right next to him would be someone that looked totally normal. And the bartender would come up and she was completely normal looking, you know, so it was weird that it wasn't an overall, you know, oh, well, your perception's distorted and you just see everything looks trippy. It was like only certain people look this way.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of what started, one of the things that started leading me back towards, or I should say back out of like agnostic type of thinking, which led me into one day at work, people talking about, these guys are always bust balls. I tattoo for a living, but I've been doing art my whole life, and they would always give me shit about like any kind of conspiracy, anything, you know, you always talk about. And they talking about the moon landing, and I'm like, dude, you ever see that video of them going to the moon, you know?
It hurts me if people believe in that. I mean, that's the most basic one. I didn't look at it until after 9/11, so I got to say that. But once going through 9/11,
right,
fakery, and seeing the moon landing, I was done with it in a couple hours, honestly. I tell people it shouldn't be more than a weekend. I mean, it's a joke.
Horrible. Well, I told him about the funny thing happened on the way to the moon thing.
Yeah. Did he watch it?
And they didn't see it. I was trying to find it. And that led into me finding it later on. I was working on a painting. I was sitting at home. Found the video. I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to show these guys and like be like, what do you think of this? I'm sure they would say what everyone else says. Oh, it's computer graphics. Anybody can make that shit or whatever, that, you know, cognitive dissonance type of crap. And then autoplay was on and some flat earth shit came on. And I started kind of like, you know, for me, like, and that's what my email is. It's like no box to think of. Like everybody says, they're like, dude, you don't even like think outside of the box. Like you don't have a box. Cause I can always entertain any kind of theory. I'm the type of person that like when shit goes down, like say that with a Zeitgeist, when say things like that come out, I always research Zeitgeist debunked. Like I watch all kinds of shit and I don't believe what I see. And I look at both sides. I look at the debunked, all the videos. I look like tons of 9/11 shit I would find out through watching debunked videos. So there was one called Who Killed John O'Neill, about the head of security that they assigned like the day before 9/11. And it was funny because my mom's maiden name's O'Neill, so it's kind of weird, but stuff like that where you'd watch these videos and then you'd see unrelated videos, not, you know, connected at all, but kind of overlapping information that you'd be like, oh shit, that's that. And that makes sense. And then that's why when I talk to people, they're like, how the fuck do you know all this shit? And I'm like, because it's important. I'm like, you can go to the movies and spend $20 and watch some bullshit that you know what's going to happen, or you can watch the fucking coolest movie ever that's constantly going on every day, you know? And I don't know, it basically got to where I started seeing this flat earth shit, and then Mandela hit with the Berenstain Bears and Ed McMahon, and once I found out about that Black Tom shit, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, that's when I really yeah, I think you were saying that's one of your biggest things too. Like that, I knew for a fact they were like the second ever, you know, terrorist attack on U.S. soil, the first ever on mainland. And they beat that into the fucking news and media over and over and over. Did they not? You know,
all the time.
Like,
all the time. So the fact that this Black Tom thing happened and we never heard of it, I mean, come on, dude. You shouldn't even need a 9/11. You should have heard about it growing up anyways in school and everything else, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like it was like I saw that shit and I was like, you got to be kidding me. And then I just led from there. And I mean, I definitely know about the Bernstein and all that stuff. But that led into me seeing, like, I just started watching the sky. Now I've been like heavily sky watching. I started a page. I've been wanting to do it forever. And I just hadn't gotten around to it. I finally started doing it. And I'm going to put some stuff up. I actually just emailed you some residue I found on the Mr. Rogers, like from the 80s of Engines Under the Wing. So I just sent that over to you today, which is cool. And
there was Engines Under the Wings on a Mr. Rogers? Or are you talking about two different things? Oh, awesome.
My kid was watching it, and I was like, holy shit, you're talking about some airport shit. And they showed a video, and sure enough, I was like excited, because I'm like, oh, let me see if there's let me see if the planes have the engines under the wings. Because I've flown, I lived in LA and I'm from Philly and I used to go back and forth. So I used to fly a ton of times. And I used to kind of like being in the window near the wing. And they were always like under the wing, you know?
You know,
So,
it's funny
sure
you tell me
enough,
that.
it
It's
showed
funny
him.
you tell me that. Listen, you tell me that about the wing, and your kid was watching it, and I swear to God, Ted, Karen's friend, just sent me a picture yesterday in my inbox because her kid was watching something, and the plane engines were under the wing, and he sent me a photo of it as well. It's everywhere. Everybody.
Synchronicity.
Why would anybody
Fucking
draw
A.
it with the engines out in front? You'd be like, that looks fucking ridiculous. And who would design
Yeah,
something
I've
like
seen
that?
shit. They started to say that because they made the engines bigger and they had to have they couldn't have the ramps, so they had to push them up forward and out or something. But it doesn't make sense because they don't have a lot of, all the old planes have them like that. So it doesn't, it's not,
Again,
it's just like all the other
completely debunked.
bullshit.
Yeah, just like all the other bullshit. They think we don't look for redesigns, reissues, logo changes, brand changes. We're not fucking retarded.
Mhm.
But hey, I'm gonna let
Yeah.
you wrap it up and just tell me two things.
Yeah,
Biggest Mandela effect for you, and how'd you find the channel?
Biggest, I probably have two. It's Black Tom and Berenstein, and the other. There's plenty other that are just as insane, but they were the main ones that I got on. And like I said, I found you just through, researching and getting into stuff. And it's probably been, I don't know, at least a year now or so. Been following all you guys. So I don't know if you guys think about Richie, but he seems like he's getting a little goofy. He's almost going like Alex Jones or some shit. Like he's getting weird. But hopefully he keeps.
He's always
doing
been
well.
good to me, and he's let me come on totally uncensored and twice.
Yeah, he's good. I like him. He just seems. I hope he's getting. He seems like, I don't know if he's just frustrated, but he's definitely lately he's been seeming like he's a little frazzled. But I can see why the whole planet's going ballistic. So, but yeah, man, thanks for having me on, and I hopefully I'll be around. Be seeing more of me more often.
Yeah, man. Call in anytime. What was your name again?
I'm an Intrepid Dreamer.
Intrepid Dreamer. All right, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you for calling.
Thanks. See you guys.
All right. And now we're going to let Tartarian Bob call in because he wants to call in and talk about Max Egan. Give us a ring, Bob. If anybody doesn't get the joke, just look at the picture next to me.
What did he say? Max Egan already retracted and went back to saying Earth is a ball again, but you can think of it as flat.
That's what he said in the comment. And I don't know if this is him. This is coming up unknown. Bob, what's up?
Hey, Brian, what's happening, man?
Not much. How you doing?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. So, yeah, I wanted to call in because...
Sorry, hang on. Let me just
somebody's
shut...
calling in. Okay.
Yeah, let me just shut
no
that
worries.
down. Okay, we're good now. The ring is off. Sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. I know. It took me a while to learn about that, how to disable the ringer when I was on a call and Google calls or whatever it is. But, yeah, at least it's there. That's nice.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so... I don't know. I think I heard you say earlier you don't know a lot about Max Egan. Is that right?
I don't know crap other than I heard his name a few times, and I do remember when the whole thing came out with the nonstop flight that he was supposedly filming on and all that, but I never really got into trying to even look into that to debunk it. I kind of pretty much been sick of hearing all that nonsense by that point. But
yeah, well, here's the deal. So like Max Egan has been like adamantly against flat Earth for a long time, and actually 3 years ago, I had Max on Globebusters, and let's see, I was on, David Weiss was on, Mark Sargent I think was on, but maybe not for the whole thing, and then Jaron, and we all were basically kind of tag teaming on Max, and trying to talk some sense into him, and trying to get him to understand what was really going on, and trying to get him to take a serious look at it. Well, obviously that went over like a turd in a punch bowl. Didn't work well at all.
Yeah.
And so after that, he, went on and did all these shows, and he's basically kind of trolling us and, saying this is just really stupid. And he really talked about the entire Globebusters meeting on a couple of shows. And it was, just basically bashing us, right? So it's like, oh, okay, whatever. And then he did a flight from Sydney to Santiago, I believe. And that's the one you heard about. And of course, Darren, kind of covered that live. And at that point, he was like, well, there was something really interesting about that, because they had discovered that there was a compass heading that didn't make sense on the globe Earth, right? So Max was starting to get a little bit curious about that, but he still went on, saying, well, flat Earth is still a psyop, yada, 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 right? Still pretty much bashing it. So fast forward to yesterday or day before, whenever. So he comes out and all of a sudden he says, I just had this download. I had this light hit me in the head, like it was an alien download or something like that. And, I figured out the whole thing. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're on a flat Earth. It's a construct. I mean, he went into, pretty elaborate detail, talking about it. And he also started talking about some other things that, some of it sounded ridiculous, to be honest, but, whatever. But other parts of it were, actually true. And I think, at least from my point of view, I think that, these guys are parasitic and they do feed off our energy. And, there's a lot more really weird shit going on in this plane than I think people really will recognize. And I think, Max had kind of been tuned into that, but I mean, he did kind of come off as a little bit, bizarre, but I thought this is great because Max Egan is like freaking legend in the truth community. Right. And I thought, if he comes out and he is, saying that the Earth is flat, everything's cool, then, and he issued this apology. He goes, I sincerely apologize. And, I figured that he was talking, directly to us, since we were some of those people that he was bashing on. So he issues this apology and, really went into great detail. And I thought, this is awesome. And I went and I mirrored that video yesterday on Globebusters, right?
Yeah. You saw that.
Yeah.
You had it mirrored. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I took it down today too, but, so yeah, I thought that's great. And I took some heat for it. People are saying, well, he's a gatekeeper and all this stuff. And I'm like, let's give him the benefit of the doubt and all this crap. And then today he releases a video and, he starts out, well, I hope I got everybody's attention, even all you flat earthers and everybody. And, it's kind of what I meant to do. And I just thought to myself, oh boy, here it comes. The other shoe's going to freaking drop.
Yeah.
I know. And he goes on and he goes, well, all right, so here's the deal. The Earth is actually a globe, but at the same time, it's a flat Earth, right? He starts going into this incredible double speak. It's kind of like gravity. You can think of it as a force, but it isn't, right? It is the force, but you can think of it as one. Kind of shit like that. So he's like the ball Earth. Earth, you can think of it as a ball. It is a ball, but you can think of it as flat or something like that.
Oh my God.
That's essentially what he's saying. Yeah, he was totally double speaking everything, and then he was talking about how he, just wanted to get everybody's attention. And then he kept going back and saying, well, yeah, but it is flat, but no, it's really a globe. It is a big, beautiful globe, but it really depends on your point of view. So then he's just saying, well, whatever your belief system is, now that's what it actually is. And it's like, okay, whatever, I guess I can see that point of view. But to me, the whole thing was a freaking ruse. I mean, and I was pissed off about it. So obviously I took down the video. And, I've definitely got some choice words to say about it on Sunday, but I mean, I don't know what to think, man. I think that's fucked up. What do you think?
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know the guy personally. So, but the weird thing is though, like to just flip it back in a day, it's like, why not drag it out a little longer? Like, I don't really understand the motivation behind that. That's really strange, huh?
I hate that. I hate that he did that, but earlier, just before you called in and said that, I was like, why? Why all of a sudden now is he coming out and saying, oh yeah, the Earth is flat, blah, blah, blah. When he was so dismissive and he was so against us for so long.
Oh, I know. Okay. Karen, do you remember that? Do you remember 3 years ago when we had him on Glowbusters? Do you remember that?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that was insane. And I just thought, wow, this is really great because, if Max Egan says the world is flat, I mean, think about how many other truther hosts out there that would, say, okay, well, just out of respect for Max, we better, start looking at this seriously. And, that's why I was ecstatic about it, as were a lot of people. And that's why I was also willing to take the heat for mirroring it, on Glowbusters. And then it freaking bit me.
Do you think it's kind of like a little mental thing where it's like, so he comes out and he talks about flat Earth real quick, but that's just for the people that are already on the fence and maybe are willing to look at it a little, but probably won't. But if he says it, they will. But then he comes out with that bullshit, and they're just like, well, if it's however I could perceive it to be, what is the point in looking into it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if he's going to sit there and go, well, no, it's really a globe, but you can think of it as a flat Earth. It's like get real. And then of course, on top of that, saying all the other stuff that he was saying. And yesterday, he was kind of coming across like, oh, I was kind of like the chosen one to get hit with this beam. And I mean, he sounded, almost delusional, in some ways. But it's like, okay, so maybe he had this really profound experience, and I get that, but. And I was, willing to overlook a lot of that, even though a lot of people, believe me, were saying, what is this bullshit? What's he saying? But, I was looking at the, the bigger picture and thinking, he could actually draw a lot more people into flat Earth. And I wanted to support that. But, when he turns around and does what he did today, I mean, that literally just crapped on the whole community, I think.
And by doing it in just a day's time, it didn't give any chance for him to legitimately take any of his people and point them in the right direction. Like if he didn't say apology to you by name, I'm sure he didn't plug any flat Earth channels. Hey, go check out this guy, go check out that guy. And it never got to a point where he would be able to do that, or even the people on his forums could ask him because he's already retracted it, basically.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
to them,
That's exactly right.
He's like the be all end all to them because they already trust him. He looked at it, but now he can perceive it either way. So you're going to go on his word that you can just perceive it either way. So what's it really matter to look at? And he never uttered the word Glowbusters or Mark Sargent or Rob Skeeber or anything. So if they don't know, then it's kind of like dead in the water to them, maybe. I mean, that's just one way to look at it.
Yeah, exactly. And frankly, I wasn't, I don't really care that there was no personal recognition. I don't care about that at all. What I cared about was that, Max Egan is saying the Earth is flat, look into it, and, people are going to find it one way or another. Right. And that's all I was interested in. And, he seemed so sincere. He's like, I'm so sorry, I know the truth now. It's absolutely, we're in this, he described it. He goes, I think there's a firmament, I think that, he just laid it out. It's like he was really dialed in. And wow, what a turnaround.
What do you think motivated him to take that flight? Because it's one thing to be triggered by flat Earth and try to debunk it. It's another thing to get on a friggin' flight that's like 12, 14 hours, paid for the airfare, and try to debunk it, unless you already leaning towards it. Isn't that, like, why would you do that unless you already were leaning towards it 3 years ago? And if he was already leaning towards it 3 years ago, why did it take him 3 years to come around?
I don't know. And what's odd? I mean, I don't really know why he took the flight. I doubt it was just to prove, you know what I mean? I mean, who would do that? He may have had some business or something like that and decided that he would at least turn on a compass and try and, stay awake, even though he said he fell asleep and stuff. But he did make note of the compass headings and stuff like that. And it was anomalous because it happened to track perfectly with the bearings on a flat Earth and not on a globe Earth. And so, but even that didn't, convince him at the time. But here it is all this time. And I know David Weiss has been working on him and stuff like that. So, I'm really disappointed, to say the least. And I feel like an ass, frankly, for even mirroring that video. And so many people were saying, he's gatekeeping, he's gonna turn, he's gonna roll. And I'm just thinking, I hope not, because he really seems sincere. And now, he does that, and it's like, God, maybe I'm really getting shitty at judging people's characters. So, I don't know what to think.
Yeah, this just keeps happening to us, doesn't it? Every time a big name comes out, then they just go against it after. Or they either turn against it, or it just kind of doesn't get talked about again.
Yeah, I know. but you know, who knows what's going to happen? But you know, like I said, he sounded just about flaky enough that anybody that even did listen to him is going to think that he lost the plot. You know, that he kind of, you know, he's kind of losing it. And you know, I wonder too, because he's really he's not. He doesn't seem like he's making a lot of sense on some things, and then on other things, you know, he sounds like he really has it figured out. You know what I mean? So I don't know if this is just a result of whatever happened to him, you know, this really profound revelation, or if he's just full of shit. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know the guy like you know him, obviously, but it sounds like he's full of shit to me. You know? I don't know.
Well, I'm sure that the community will definitely have stuff to say about it. But like I said, I took the video down. You know, I'm not going to keep it up, and especially after what he said today. But yeah, if you get a chance, listen to it. Listen to the Crow House, what he said today and what he said yesterday. And, you know, it literally, the way he came out today, it just sounded like, yep, I baited you guys. Ha ha ha. You know, I mean, what did you think, Karen? I mean, what was your take on all that? Did you hear his speech today?
I did not.
Okay, well, that's definitely.
I know, and I'm so terrible. I saw when I woke up this morning, the first thing I saw was from Iru in one of the groups, and it says Max Egan becomes a flat earther. And I was like, okay, well, great. Where you been, buddy? Like, it's about time. That's kind of what I thought when I saw it. If it was true.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And then
I
saw it making the rounds, and then I just didn't watch it yet because I don't know. I just don't like to watch. I just don't like to watch a lot of those videos. I know I'm so bad. I don't know.
Oh well, that's okay. Well, you know, like I said, it's interesting if for nothing other than, you know, watching this masterful job of flip-flopping that he did. You know, I mean, he was so freaking.
But he did it in one day.
One day,
48 hours, yeah.
freaking
One day and then the next.
And he rolled over. Yeah.
Because I saw
Absolutely
the
insane.
things coming through about him being a flat earther, and then now it's not even been 24 hours since I saw that, and he's rolled over.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I don't know if I want to say to be fair or to be honest, but you know, he says, you know, the Earth is a globe, but you know, it's also flat, and it all comes down to your belief system, right? So now he's saying that, well, if you believe it's flat, then it's flat. If you believe it's a globe, it's a globe. It's like, wow, talk about some doublespeak crap there, you know?
That's what everything that they have is based on doublespeak, though, Bob. Everything they have has doublespeak in it. Everything on NASA's website is doublespeak. Every article has doublespeak in it. Every story has, you know, dark matter. I mean, it's just everywhere.
Yeah, I know. But I was just disappointed because I personally obviously got bit by it, you know, for posting that video. And plus, you know, after 3 years ago, I mean, it's like, God, he was really harsh on us. And I remember, you know, literally for the next 2 or 3 shows, he just kept going on and on and on about it, about, you know, how, you know, we were a psyop and we were dishonest and this, that, and the other thing. And, you know, obviously yesterday, and Ira did the same. Ira put it in the Globebusters chat. I think he put it in FE Core, and he was kind of spreading around everywhere. So the first thing I caught was that 8-second clip of Max saying the Earth is flat, and then David posted the 40-minute video of, you know, him going through the whole spiel, and I was just going, wow, this is great, you know. And then today, today I was listening because I wanted to hear him reveal his. He also said he was going to reveal his real name. And then the other thing that was really weird is,
I heard about that too.
He had a swastika tattoo, not a tattoo, but he had a swastika drawn on his left hand. Now, I know full well that the swastika was perverted by the Nazis, and before it actually had very peaceful connotations.
Yeah.
But I think it's weird because he said he took his name Max, which apparently is his middle name, but the Max part of Max Egan is his son's name, and Max was supposedly his uncle's name that died in the war, like World War II, and Nazi Germany and all this stuff. And I just thought, wait a minute, so he's killed basically by the Germans, unless I'm misunderstanding, but he's killed by the Germans, so he puts a Nazi on his hand, or a swastika on his hand. I'm just thinking, that's bizarre.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to vent about that because that really torqued me off. What do you do though, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We got to try not. Honestly, we can't really get our hopes up when any of these big names come out at all anymore. We get bit in the ass almost all the time, and I mean, it's good if it happens, it happens, and if people come our way, we will direct them the right way and whatnot. In this case, Bob, it's really funny that he flipped in less than a day because again, he didn't get to plug any flat Earth channels, anybody for any content outside his. I don't want to say echo chamber, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. I guess we can be happy for people like Owen Benjamin. And it was interesting. I mean, Owen is so legit. I mean, that guy is so true blue. It was interesting watching him go through it, from his first, I don't want to be a flat earther. My God, I'm already discredited enough. Somebody help me out here. It was kind of funny in a way, but, and now the guy's a flat earther. I mean, even though he doesn't want to advertise it, even though it's a pretty foregone conclusion. He's very outspoken about Apollo and very outspoken about there's no way that this can be a ball. And, he said that the earth is flat many times, and I think he means it, and I think he's going to stick with it. And I don't think he gives a crap, what anybody else thinks about, his.
No, and he's already well past the point.
Flat earther. He talks like any flat earther I ever heard.
Yeah, and
yep, Owen's legit.
And not to say he wasn't legit, but let's just say he was a guy that was all about subs. And there's people that are worried about losing listeners and fans if they talk about flat Earth. Well, he's clearly shown he hasn't lost anybody. And in fact, since moving off YouTube to Dlive, he has way more people live watching him than ever.
I know. He's doing really great. And I'm happy. I'm really happy to see that too. So, but yeah, I mean, Owen's legit. He's true blue. He's honest. And everything about him was just straight up. And Max, when he does flip flops like that, and then says stuff like, well, I'm glad I was trying to get you guys' attention. Essentially, it's like, really? So that's how you get people's attention? I actually wrote a really nasty comment on the video that he posted today, basically saying stuff like, yeah, you pointed out exactly what a lying POS you were. And then the more I thought about it, it's like, yeah, I'm being kind of harsh. And so I just deleted it. But still, I'm pissed off about it. I just,
what makes it it makes it even more aggravating because you guys were ridiculed so much about it. And you gave him a chance to, you brought him on your platform. I get it, man.
Yeah. And on yesterday's show, I also invited him back. It's like, I can't tell you how thrilled I am, because I know he remembers that show. There's no way that he didn't after, the way he went on and on and on about it for days afterwards. And so I told him, I'm so thrilled, that you came to this conclusion. I'd love to have you back on and discuss your journey and, how you came to all this. And I deleted that post too.
I'm sure.
I mean, screw that guy, man. That's the way I'm looking at it now. I mean, yeah, he still does good, truth-seeking work in other areas. But, as far as I'm concerned, what he did to Flat Earth is he just slapped us in the face. And that I'm sorry, that just pisses me off.
Yep.
So there you have it.
Unnecessary.
Anyway, okay, well, I'm sorry, Karen, what?
I said it was unnecessary. It's unnecessary for him to do stuff like that. Why even go there?
Yeah, I mean, I really have no idea what his ultimate intent was, but yeah, pretty screwed up. So, all right. Well, anyway, I just wanted to call in and vent on that, and I'll let you get to your other callers, but I hope you guys are having a great evening.
All right.
Okay, Bob, you too. Thank you for calling.
Okay, no problem. You guys take care. See ya.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Next call. 978-435-0006. 97. Jared Neal, what does this mean? Differentiate from all the rest by upholding integrity. If we don't know something, be proud to not know. Don't be like Eric Dubé. I'm definitely not like Eric Dubé. So I don't know if you're just saying don't be like that, but I have no intention of ever being like that. So I'd rather fucking kill myself, honestly. Somebody call in. 978-434-0006. What's that?
Nothing. Nothing.
978-435-0006. Here we go. I think this is Maori calling in. Unveiling this realm with Brian and the Flat Earth New Age Witch Chewbacca Lady. Who's this?
Hello there, it's Lunderground.
Hey, what's up, Lunderground?
Yes, it's very interesting listening because a number of things have sort of personally come to me because, well, first of all, would you like to hear about something completely bizarre and absolutely hilarious on a Discord server I've been on for about a month now? I've never even interacted on there, never even talked to anyone, and this is a Discord server I've been on from about maybe early December, obviously via some of the other ones I've been coming on. And this is called, obviously, I don't know exactly who runs it. It's called Astrology, Numerology and Tarot Discord server. And on there, at 9 p.m. yesterday evening, I can tell you what this message said. It's kind of the most bizarre tarot reading I've ever had. And it's only 3 sentences. And completely even blows my mind. Would you like to hear?
What is it?
It's on a Discord server, a user called Little Goose. I've never interacted with them before. Taken screenshots of this. And as you can hear, I'm very relaxed now because I've made quite a lot of progress recently with the police and getting things sorted out. And my flat's obviously a mess still. See the paperwork, but never even posted on this Discord server. I basically, on there, obviously, just registered, not even interacted. And then this user called Little Goose, yesterday at 2100 hours, 9 p.m. my time, at the time I was on the Russian vid stream chatting in the live chat.
Yeah.
And then this user called Little Goose says, I do tarot. I can do reading about that girl. From what I'm seeing that she likes you a lot and fascinating about you in a sexual way, and she wants you to make the move and kiss her. I suggest slapping her butt as well because I do see, well, he says a ass, an ass, and female with a butt that might indicate as a sign anyway after that things will happen really fast. So what? I never interacted with them before. How the hell do they know that? And then there's maybe 150 users on this Discord. There's like a sort of a lobby room like they all have. I've only been interacting on Discord probably since about, the start of November. Ironically, the reason I first joined Discord, because of a stock trading service to do with that numerology group I've been involved with for the last 5 years. I subscribed to their service back in June. I forgot about it. I created my Discord account finally on the 29th of October to go on there. And then maybe it's through them I saw something, or did I search on their Disboard? I think it's like a directory. But this is it's hilarious, completely sublime. And how did they pick up on this whilst I'm chatting in real time on that Russian vid stream?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's crazy.
Blows my mind.
Yeah, that is.
This is tarot. Obviously, I myself have had a tarot card deck for the last couple of years lying here. Well, I'm going to get using that. I tried to get on a tarot course back in about 2018, but then to cut a long story short, I was sort of asking too many questions, and then they thought I was wasn't quite ready for it. But I'm going to try again as soon as, obviously, finances permitting. But this is like, I've had tarot readings before, briefly, but Not like this, where someone completely random on this Discord server I've never interacted with, like I posted on there in what's called their kind of like their lounge room. It's like called the visitor lounge, I think it is. I can click on here now. And my first post on there, 5 past midnight my time, I just put, "Little Goose, wow, you are stunningly accurate. Yes, there is someone who likes me. I DM'd you back, but I've not heard back, but that's blown my mind."
Yeah, that is weird, man. I don't know. A lot of weird shit goes on with Discord. But what else you got? What else you want to talk about?
Yes, well then, going back to Max Eigen, I actually got to know him. This is another strange thing. Back on a voice chat server through basically back in my awakening year of 2008, when I woke up to 9/11 back in the early part of that year, then fast forward a bit, I found this site called lightworkers.org, and they basically ran a voice chat server on a kind of predecessor to to Discord called Ventrilo. And on there later that year, at the time, I can't remember, he was like using a different nickname, but it later turned out to be Max Eigen. He was coming on that Discord server. This was like late 2008.
Yeah.
And obviously then, I never really paid much attention to him again until maybe the last 4 or 5 years. And then it's just interesting because he's been my Facebook friend since 2010.
Yeah.
I think obviously long before he became known. I've not really sort of looked back at his history maybe in the intervening 3 or 4 years or 5 years that I sort of didn't really know he got that big. And then I only heard more about him again, maybe from about 2013, 14, when he appeared on this radio show called the Richie Allen Show. It's like a sort of independent radio show that's started in the UK. You may have heard of it. But it's just very interesting. And he has some good stuff like, what was it called? The Christchurch shooting. But yes, even I'm a bit puzzled. And considering I've known him all that long.
Didn't he say that shooting was real?
It's surreal to me.
Didn't he say that it was real? That's what people were saying earlier.
Well, I've not looked into it that much. It could all be a complete hoax, and obviously, is he a shill? Is he not? Obviously, I'm sort of on the fence about that. But yes, it's completely bizarre about his flat earth stuff, because somebody on Facebook actually, who was living to be local at the time, she showed me about Dave Murphy's video, and as soon as I saw that, I was a globe denier. But then maybe until about September, I was sort of questioning that. Then a P-Brain video about the sun's perspective in late September 15, that finally sort of sealed the deal with the Earth being flat.
Yeah.
Then I suppose maybe early 16, I was sort of waking up to all the space fakery then. Although I myself had heard of that moon documentary back in about 2012. Can't remember what it's called now. Something on the way to the moon. That's it.
Yeah. But hey,
so that's obviously about him, and then that's just very interesting in itself. And then yes, that was it. Yes, on that Ventrilo voice server, there was also another user on there at the time called Angels444. Well, I'm also still Facebook friends with her, and then ironically, I think she's still a globe. I've not really heard much from her recently, but she actually runs a website called The Spiritual Sphere. So it's all very ironic in that sense, but just thought I'd fill you in on those couple of things.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Thank you for the call. Appreciate it, man. All right, and next call, 978-435-0006. I'll probably take like 2 more callers and then we'll wind it down. Okay, Karen?
Okay.
I'm getting a little tired. Thank you, everybody. If I wasn't like kind of sick, I would go a little longer, but you know me. I'll be back. I actually have another brand new show. If you guys want to see it tonight, I could play it after. Or maybe I'll just premiere it tomorrow. If you guys didn't see it live today on Gypsy Road's channel. Vader, you gotta wait a few. Hey, you're on with Brian and Karen. Who's this?
Hey, this is Darren.
Hey, Darren. You just gotta turn the volume down on the feed.
Yeah. Got something about the moon with flat Earth.
Yeah, what's up?
Shout out to Richie from Boston because he shouted out that the full moon was the new moon in the Bible. So he got me to looking for it. And we just had a full moon on 12/12 at 12:12 a.m. You can go to Google sunrise time for where you live at.
Yep.
And find out when the moon's setting that day, and check the sunrise time, and you will see that the sun rises 17 to 18 minutes before the moon sets. So we could see both with our eyes.
Yeah.
And you're not going to do that. If I'm not looking down the curve, I'm looking straight out.
No, definitely not. Yeah, of course not. It's completely insane.
And with this chemtrails, I must point out something to you here.
Yeah.
That they offer incense to Baal.
They what?
They offer incense to Baal. So they're spraying barium and aluminum, right?
Oh yeah, I know.
That's
Yeah, BAAL.
BAAL.
Yeah.
And I
talked about that.
this prophecy here in Jeremiah, and they built the high places of Baal, which are in the valley of, this is Jeremiah 32:29. And the Chaldeans that fight against this city shall come and set fire on this city and burn it with the houses whose roofs they have offered incense unto Baal. They offered incense unto Baal on their roofs, and they burn them. And this one here, I think you can see this one. This is, I believe, this is what's taking place right now with Australia. And now we have this mountain volcano.
Yeah.
This is in Revelation 8. When he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. I saw the seven angels which stood before God, and to them were given seven trumpets. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of the saints upon the golden altar which was before the Lord. All right, they just so happen to have airplanes that they're offering this incense with these days, and they're offering it upon the golden altar which is before God, which is before the throne. What do you think the golden altar is that's before the throne?
I don't know. What is it?
Our sun used to be a golden yellow, but now it's white.
Yeah, used to be.
Richie from Boston screaming it out every day. They blocking out the sun. They blocking out the sun. Yeah, it says it right there that they're offering upon the golden altar, which was before the throne. So if you God's up there, if you look up there, there's something golden that's before him. And the smoke of the incense which came up with the prayers of the saints ascended up before God and out of the angel's hand. And the angel took it and filled it with the fire of the altar and cast it upon the earth. And there were voices and lightnings and thunderings and lightning and an earthquake. And the seven angels which had the seven trumpets prepared themselves to sound. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of the trees was burned up, and all the green grass was burned up. I say this is happening in Australia right now. And the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire, and it was cast into the sea. And the third part of the sea became blood, and the third part of the creatures which were in the sea that had life died, and the third part of the ships was destroyed. We had lightnings, thunder, earthquake, and we have a volcano that's erupting into the sea in the Philippines.
Yep.
And they offering incense before the golden altar, which is before the throne. Oh, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, so the next thing we're going to see is a bright star fall from heaven that's wormwood that poisons the waters. Oh.
That's a crazy
I've been
time
studying
we're
this a
in.
long time, man. They can't come out, man. They got to block out the sun. They in the bottomless pit, which is, I believe, is right up underneath our feet, man. They've been underground for a long time. They can't come out in the light. They have to darken out the sun first, and then they can open the bottomless pit and come out. In Genesis, when God said that He would destroy life off the face of the earth, I believe that to be the surface. They were already up underground. They've been up under there since Noah, and Noah was preserved seed for the face of the earth. That makes sense to you? And another thing I wanted to talk about is the time we live in, because they're changing it from BC and AD. Was you taught BC was before Christ and AD was after death?
Yeah.
Well, now they telling us AD don't mean after death. It's Anno Domini, and it means the year of our Lord, and it means that we're mistaken. It means that the year when Christ was born.
So they moved it back 33 years.
If you look up, does AD mean after death, and it's going to tell you no. You can't find nowhere it says you were mistaken. No, we was lied to. And they changed it to BCE, before Common Era, and CE is Common Era, the time that we live in of our time, and BCE is of old time. So I believe when our time started is when they came up out of Egypt, and God told him that this shall be the beginning of months unto you. And they came up out of Egypt on the 14th day of the first month. And here we are 2020 years later. I have some more stuff. I can't. A lot of stuff going on in my head trying to wake up.
Yeah, man.
Oh man, my awakening was, man, like hitting a brick wall.
When did you start?
When I first seen that big old white sun, I'm like, what the world is that?
When did you first notice the white sun?
Oh, this would have been in 2017. I think in maybe February or March of 2017. That's when I was waking up, and then
So it's been a wild couple of years. A lot of stuff in a couple of years, huh?
yeah, I've been doing a lot of studying, man. So what I was wanting to talk about next here that I had on my mind. Yeah, they lied to us a lot, man. They show us desert. They got us picturing the desert as this sandy wasteland of orange dirt with cactus, and they coming out of Egypt riding on camels, right? So I was talking to my friend, and she's like, "Oh no, they came out. They was riding camels." I said, "No, they had covered wagons that Pharaoh gave Joseph a covered wagon to go get his father." And when they left out of Egypt, they spoiled the Egyptians. So they came out with chariots. Egypt was known for their chariots, which is covered wagons. Another thing I got is I believe that this King James Bible is the original translation, and that these words were put in here that they tell us are Hebrew and Greek. and you can't understand what it's saying. You have to go look up these words, which we never could before, but we can now. And a lot of them, I mean, they couldn't put that in English. They couldn't describe it, huh? I guess that's what they're going to tell us. Yeah, but like when they come up out of Egypt, they camped in sackcloth. Nobody knows what that is. They camped in tents, is what it means. What? You got tents somewhere else? How come we can't put tents here? And they camped at, they turned and camped at Parahara, which is mouth of the Gorgs, which would be a stream that's running into the sea right there. And they camped between Parahara and Migdal. Migdal is a tower, a height. So you got a height right there, but you would need a height because the wind would be blowing in your face because he brought a strong east wind. So you would need a height to block the wind from you. And this Red Sea, when you look it up, is bulrush. And it says that Moses' mama made him an ark out of bulrush. It's red flag. And you can't find that nowhere over there where they claim it to be the Red Sea.
Yeah.
There's no bulrush at all. And they're coming out of Egypt. They crossed the Red Sea. They put 3 days behind them. And then before they get to the city of sin, they're camping at the Red Sea again. I'm like, no, man, they didn't turn around. And now 40 years later, before they cross over the Jordan, they camping at the Red Sea again. And I'm reading my Bible, and it's describing stuff that is in the 17 and 1800s. And I'm finding it, and it's right where the Bible says it is. And history says the same thing what the Bible says, but with a twist.
Oh yeah.
I got a lot of them.
Yeah, of course. But hey, I gotta cut it down though, because I'm about to end the
hold
show.
on. I got one more with you about the Mandela on the Bible.
All right, one more.
You talk about this because I read this one 13 years ago. And I read the prayer when I first got my King James 13 years ago, and I saw in the King James it said debts. So I started saying my prayer, forgive me of my debts. And then when I went to the Presbyterian church, that they said the prayer with debts. And I was like, oh man, I might like this church. But the other one, let's see, let me get it up here. It's planets in the Bible.
Oh yeah, I know. Kings 23:5 in the KJV.
Yeah, because I read that one, and I believe this to be in the 1800s. And he put down the idolatrous priests, the kings of Judah, had ordained and burned incense in high places in the cities of Judah and in the high places around about Jerusalem. Them also that burned incense unto Baal, to the sun, and to the moon, and to the planets, and to all the host of heaven. Now, I didn't have this concordance back then. All I had was a dictionary, and it told me planets was wandering stars. But when you click on this one here, which is H4208, it gives me the definition. Apparently from 5140, in the sense of reigning, a constellation that is zodiac sign, perhaps as affecting the weather. Weather control. They burned to Baal to control the weather.
But hey, brother, I gotta
go. I know it's been a long day for you.
Yeah, I gotta get off. I'm beat, bro. I'm about to hit the wall. But thank you for the call.
All right, love your show, man. You and Karen have a good night.
All right, you too.
All right.
All right, Karen. Oh, she must have stepped away. All right, well, guys, I am gonna wind it down. I thank you everybody for coming. Anybody that's new here, I hope you enjoyed the show. Hey, anybody that's new here, do me a favor, hit 1 in the chat right now. If you're new here in the last couple of days, you came from Throw interview or whatever, hit 1 so I know that you're new here. I hope you enjoyed the show. I know there's a lot of stigma out there about me. Oh, this kid just comes out here and cusses all the time. Hey, you're damn right. If a cuss word's going to come out because I'm being passionate, it's going to come out. But clearly you can just see I'm passionate. I don't come out here and just cuss people out for the sake of cussing them out. So we're all big boys here. Put your big boy pants on. Enjoy the show. We allow people to come with all different beliefs and all these topics that we talk about. There's people in here that think my favorite topics are a psyop, but they're on board with 1 or 2 of the others. And as long as everybody's respectful and not a dick, then we're all good, you know? And we're all just trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. We're all on the same team. If you don't know, I have 3 channels because of YouTube censorship. I always re-premiere these videos back on the Real News Online channel, usually about 12 hours apart, so other people have a chance to see it with a live chat. And I have a 3rd channel, Brian Staveley 3, which is linked below in the show description, where I re-premiere, all sorts of videos of mine, whatever's topical for the week, or short Mandela videos, interviews I've done, all sorts of stuff. And a lot of people show up for those chats. Gives people a place to hang out during the day when there's nothing else on or whatever. Karen's link is also below. I know that the show links might have disappeared because YouTube has a glitch, but as soon as the show's done, I'll go grab them again and copy and paste them and put them back in. But her channel is linked on the right-hand side of my YouTube channel. If you just look at the homepage, a shout out to Gypsy Road. The phone kind of rang when I was shouting them out earlier. Gypsy Road, I did a show on their channel today. It was really cool. Me and the 2 of them just shooting the shit. It was supposed to be a Mandela show. We actually started talking a lot about 9/11, the first Gulf War, NASA, anthropology. We got into all sorts of stuff, and then we get into the Mandela effect for a while. So check that out. Sub it, bell it. You guys will like their live shows that they do, and I will mirror that on my channel here probably tomorrow afternoon. Maybe around 11 a.m. or noontime. And if you're new here, me and Karen do this every Thursday night. We do alternate channels. So if you want to catch the next show, make sure you're subbed and bell to her, because the last show was over on her channel. And she has an even bigger channel. Even more people will be in the chat. Closer to 300 people probably when we do it over there. So that's about it. You guys are awesome. There'll be more Awakening interviews coming. Still some big names I'm going to get that you guys know. That'll be awesome, kick-ass interviews. And some people that I want you to get to know that I think are brilliant and up and coming and need a little promotion, help their platforms get going. That's what we're all about, trying to help each other. Somebody helped you when you were small. Somebody helped me when I was small. And as long as the content's good and the people are good, then we should be promoting each other. And that's how I feel. Some of the people I watch their shows the most, we disagree totally on what's causing the Mandela effect or other things like that. But that's cool. We're all piecing it together. So I'm stuffed up. I'm just rambling. I need to eat, tend to my dog, smoke, and crash. All right? Make sure you sub and bell all 3 of my channels. Make sure you sub and bell Karen B. And we will see you soon. I am working the next 3 days, and I'm going to be doing doubles all weekend now on weekends. So I'll be closing Friday, double Saturday, double Sunday. So you'll be seeing me, like I've been doing Monday day shows a lot, and I've been doing Tuesday, whatever. It looks like I'll be closing Tuesdays and maybe even Wednesdays. I don't know, but you'll definitely be seeing shows with me for Mondays, Thursdays, like I did today, 2 shows, and other scattered shows wherever. So just always look for the bell. All right, guys. Peace out.